Peace, love, and light. Welcome back to VAC Podcast. It is so incredible to have some of my incredible partners here with me. Right now, we are talking about something that happened historical last night that we all experienced. But before we get into that, I want to say happy holidays. I hope that everyone got connected to those resources and they were able to get full, fed, blessed, and continue to flow and be great. We do have another holiday around the corner. Multiple holidays around the corner, right? And so we want to also make sure that you're connected in the community before you expand out, especially feeding into these communities here in the Valley, small businesses, and looking at your organizations and entities that are doing the good work. We want to let you know what's going on. First things first, with our partners, with Nevada Partners. Shout out Nevada Partners for all the great stuff that they are doing here. And they have their last conference of the year, our Promise Startups Conference. Join us, Entrepreneurship Conference, December 7th, right here every first Saturday, 9 to 3. I heard you're going to have some meditation going on. Mm-hmm. What? You see how that okay, tell me. Elias, what do we
got Ethiopian food, we got Andy's Kitchen, we've got an AI workshop, we've got Chase Business, they're going to be here at 11.
All the partners.
We've got a Developmental King from Ghana, he's going to be stopping by at 3 o'clock. We've got an amazing day planned tomorrow.
Oh, and we got Marketing Director Breeze coming through doing some. Oh, goodness, Avrion, you got something going on with there too?
Not tomorrow.
Okay, look, the team is on set. Networking, workshops, things for the kids. I heard you just talking about that. You got somewhere separate, like so.
We also got ESL classes for Spanish business owners happening at the same time.
Let's go. That's what I'm talking about. That is the type of community that we want to be able to promote, support, and continue to expand. So if you have that in you, that you know you want to do something in the community, I want you to know, come here, talk through it. Elias, every single staff member here is the living experience and living proof that you can absolutely become the solution of change you wish to see. Two things that we have. First things first for VAC, we have this break that's given us the time to look at the structure of what it is that we need to do. We've been having these in talks with our stakeholders, local, state, to see how, which we're going to get into with you. We have so many organizations that are going. So we have such a network. We're going to develop that, not in a nonprofit way, because there's no benefit to have multiple pools you work together. So as this network umbrella and the blessing that it is to watch community develop, I want us to be the first to let everyone know that the restructure has happened, and officially it's been a blessing in disguise, because I could do far more than the confines that I had fallen in with doing more of the same. I think it's important that we look at the community, and as a business executive consultant, you have to look at your whole community, not just your target market. And the community needs that consultation of being able to help develop the communities together, not the separatism that you and I and all of the council has talked about. So we want to support small businesses, and by being able to support small businesses in the appropriate way, you could take the wave of economic strategy where I can build a veteran further than having them confined in a system that is going to have all kinds of things going on. I think it's important that we take a moment before we go into the next year with all the changes that have happened, which is what we're going to talk about. It's, what do you want this to look like, especially if this election affected you or is going to affect you? What is it that you need to recommit to yourself on how you want your life to be aligned, especially if something has affected you, especially if it's going to affect your business, whereas you may not be able to get that Ethiopian quality food because you can't get in the export, the import. You're affected. That's what I'm getting at. So I want to take the time, to also say that even though we're going to have this conversation about how times have and haven't changed, we can always look at the internal effect of the person, community that's surrounding it, and see what you could be as a solution of change within yourself. We've seen this happen in minority populations for centuries and eons upon eons, and how we don't need to ask for permission. I'm just going to show you better than I can tell you. That's where that quote comes from. So the idea is to take a pause, because it's winter and that's what you're supposed to be doing. And your nervous system needs a break, especially if you're in Vegas. My God. Whew, we did turned out, okay, this year. We turned out this year. And we need a pause. You have to have a moment. Every life, every moon has a phase of its time. And during this time that we're going to talk about this movie, those phases sometimes can be very similar each year. So instead of continuing in these cycles, ask yourself, what do you really want? Especially if you're a business, think about it tonight. Come do the startup. I'll post this as well. I want to say shout out to business partners that we are talking about women and all of these beautiful groups of individuals that have been disenfranchised in military armed forces and different confined communities or populaces, whatever that looks like. And we took it a step further when I was doing the mind body classes at the ranch. We had some staff employees that everybody had changed, back into their roles, or if you could say their academic expertise. And so one of those beautiful souls is my Jax's mom. Now, I do horse therapy, as you guys saw online. Like that's one of my modalities that I love. But she saw what was going on in the community, and now a mother to a son that enlisted. And so she said, Chris, I want to give back. I want to help the way you're helping. I want to see how I can contribute, even in this role. So she brings the account executive of L'Oreal. I was like, girl, thank you. But they gifted me like this, brought over. I know, right?
Wow.
Listen.
You've seen
Like I
all
said.
Oh, oh yes. So they're like, we want to be able to do this, and better yet, come on over. We're having Jay Brandon, international makeup artist, gonna be over at where did she tell me to tell y'all to go? Hold on. She told me to tell y'all to go here. I'll post this as well. It's the National Makeup Artist St. Lawrence Butte. Hold on. YSL. Why are you tripping, phone? I ain't got time for you. I'll just read it. I know. So at L'Oreal, they work flexibility. But this part of them and saying that they will branch out to be able to help to expand us, like refocusing. So Nordstrom's Las Vegas Fashion Show Mall, 11 to 5, December 12th. Okay. I know I also posted December 12th for financial literacy and financial development. So please don't spend all your money at Nordstrom's, but you do need to go get your financial literacy at 5 with how money works on the 12th. But in case, either or, both, you got to have a balance in life. Go see what it is, your image. How do you see yourself? How do you want to see yourself in 2025? And seeing all these beautiful products and things that she had gifted us to. I'm not going to say that that's a bad, just, shout out. I wanted to say thank you guys so much for that. Janelle Morris and Libby, you are phenomenal for doing this for the ladies. And I'm not saying you're getting that over there. I'm saying that you're going to meet and greet and you're going to have all of that going on. And I'll post that as well for my ladies. I also gave that to Anne Marie that's here. So you'll see it floating. Let's move on into this conversation about last night. Before we do, bro, what did you do? What did you go?
Oh, you put me on the hot spot.
Rocco.
Yeah.
Rocco,
Well,
what you done went done?
I'll be honest with you. I believe we all, work all inclusive. There's a lot of different organizations going around doing a lot of the same things. However, my thing that I saw that I try to set myself apart, the difference of actually getting out in the community and actually doing the work. I'm not looking for everybody to come to an establishment. I'm trying to get out there and go actually do the grunt work in the trenches.
Give it to me.
Thank you.
What was you doing? You was feeding them
Well,
at the house.
yeah, I was feeding out
for
of my
how many
driveway.
years?
I've done that for 3 years. I've
Out of the driveway. Y'all hear me?
I was housing veterans and what have you in the same house I was living in. But now recently what I've done, I've created a nonprofit. I'm going to call, and it's called the Greater Las Vegas Veteran Resource Center. And with that being said, we're going to actually kick off in January. I do have a facility. I'm not going to give names and addresses.
That's not that. We're not going to do that.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But what I will say,
pray on it.
we will feed, we will clothe, we will give mental health resources.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of veterans, because, you know, I worked part-time since I retired at a senior apartment community. There's 5 complexes, but there's a lot of our veterans that are living there in this 55 plus community. And, you know, they tell me, Rocco, when you brought those groceries, it helped because I only really have $100 left a month after my Social Security. Now I can keep that $100 because you helped give me groceries. So I want to give a shout out to all my little sponsors, Smiths, Albertsons, et cetera, who helped feed these Sprouts, who helped to feed these people. And it's going to get greater for the month of January.
So I need individuals, like we've said this over and over and over. A lot of people think that veterans have it made. I get it. I get it. You know, that recruiting station is open to all. We are in a system just like you, a very different system. And so the idea for us is to look at what exactly is the veteran really making. So I just got data. I'm not going to pull up the suicide mortality and or the state data. I just got a bunch of data that came in from our Governor's Challenge team lead. But fixed income, what we're talking about, when we're talking about when people give up hope, the reason why is I got to make a dollar stretch for 2 weeks because I'm on a fixed income. I don't have the luxury to go and do these things. I can't come see you, Chris, because I don't have the gas to get to you because I got to make this stretch for 2 weeks. And then the VA done up and paid me too early. And now I got extra days in January. I got to make this stretch. No, that was a real call. That's a real call. You know, so when you aren't taking into account, that's why I say people are so far removed from situations. And this movie was spot on.
Yes, it was.
People are too far removed from the living experiences that so many in this population are going through. And we're going to get into the idea that it takes a lot of this because, as you said, too many people are trying to do the same thing. Help each other. What are you doing? We were in the military. What are you doing? I get the competition and all of that. I get it. That's not needed in the civilian sector. You now are one, an army of one. Shout out to the Army. Yes, I'm an Army brat, but I'm Air Force, but I'm an Army brat. So Army of One is the collective after service.
Exactly.
An Army of One is the coalition affiliates and support services that are filling the gap for the collective.
That is correct. That
is where I people are like, oh, I didn't know active duty was veteran too. I'm like, what? Your face.
You know, Christina, I you know how many active duty veterans that I know right now? I have 2 friends of mine that are Air Force captains right now. They never even been to the VA hospital. They didn't know they could go.
I also found that our young 24 and under are getting out without proper transition. I heard for the second time a case that just, I'm like, wait, what do you mean? Even if you go to Rikers, you're going to have a proper transition. You know, straight up, I'm just keep honorable, dishonor, other than honorable. And like, there's a whole congressional mandated process that has to be followed. And I'm like, where's the gap? What's happening here? But the reason why is this communication, terminologies, segregation amongst. And last night we saw you can't. You see what happens when you segregate and you try to work against the collective. You need all parties involved. And so we're not going to be the spoiler alert because we realize how sacred it was that we got to see 6888 last night. The first and only screening in Nevada, for Nevada, right?
That's correct.
Can you repeat it? Because, you know, I was getting popcorn. and a slushie.
You were going to talk about
It's fine, because I don't get to eat bad. And so I was like, I stood in that line. It was wrapped around, bro.
Oh, yeah.
So there was not one empty seat. One, two. The line was wrapped out down the stairs.
Yes, it was.
And then the concession, but I was getting popcorn. What'd he say?
It was free.
No, but I still just made that line.
One of the biggest things that we have is that makes us stumble. We are a minority within minorities. Veterans are their own minority group.
Yes, we are a
1%
minority.
of 1% of this country is served in the United States military. It's one of the most biggest, best kept secrets in society.
Mm-hmm.
Last night's viewing of the 6888, which was the saga of a 900 strong black and brown woman battalion. A battalion is about 900 to 1,000 people. They're a self-contained unit. Everything is right there. And they were tasked to go to England and clear out warehouses full of mail that had not gotten delivered to the Eastern Theater in during World War II.
Pause. Who are you, Gary?
My name is Gary White. I am the founding president for the Montford Point Marine Association, Chapter 46, Las Vegas, named after Mr. Captain Eddie Hicks.
And what did we just do August 31st?
You tell me what we did August 31st.
We honored
Mm-hmm.
Miss Lena.
Yes,
Mhm.
we did.
Yep.
And you kneeled before the very family and the very movie that everyone will get to see.
Yep.
We sit at the very, the feet of these legends.
Absolutely.
Mr. Jackson, her brother. So even in that movie, the depiction of Mumford Point Marines, you didn't see that at all. But you imagine.
Some of the same hardships were shared between Black men, Black women, the Black community, all the different things that make us who we are. And I made an observation last night.
Don't you do no spoilers.
I'm not going to spoil something.
Okay.
This was something that I saw.
You know you a
before the
boomer.
movie. Yeah. I
You
am
a boomer. Y'all
I'm definitely a boomer.
okay.
But
Shout out my boomers. I love
one
you.
of the brilliant things about history is that it tells you where you've been. It tells you how you got to where you are. And it gives you an understanding of where you're going if you're really trying to go somewhere further. As we were approaching and getting in line and talking to the people who were there, who were guests of the premiere, there was a couple of young ladies taking photographs of each other. And they were taking photographs that were accentuating their beautiful derriere. If you don't know,
Gary, what are we doing?
Is,
Everybody knows
explain,
we're in
let
Vegas.
Me explain. No, everybody doesn't know what a derriere
No, this is true.
Okay. But
Oh my God.
it showed how some segments of our society, of our community, have the wrong idea.
Whew.
They were accentuating their physicality as opposed to their mentality.
Whew. We going
and
there today?
intellectuality.
Lord
Not
Jesus.
just made up a word, intellectuality. But anyway,
Put that on a t-shirt.
but yeah, exactly.
Brother.
But one of the biggest
Pause.
things-
You can't speed past that, sir. You
Well,
can't speed past that.
Good, all right.
You're gonna have to pause on that subject matter, sir.
Okay.
You don't know what you don't know, them youngins.
Exactly.
But they at the movie theater.
No, they were not.
Okay.
They happened to be
We
at
were-
the mall,
Jesus.
finding some good background for these
Trying to
beautiful
help
photographs
y'all.
they were gonna
I'm
see.
trying to
They were
help
gonna-
y'all.
They were going to post online. They're online right now, somewhere.
Ooh,
But
Lord.
more important, they did not know what got them to the point that they had the right to do that.
Whoop, whoop.
Okay?
Whoa,
A
that's
lot of-
where I was going with it. I'm gonna take
where
my
we
hair
don't-
down. He is
where we
playing with me
lose-
today.
Where we lose understanding of how we got to where we are. It wasn't always like this.
The intention of what you are saying is somebody paved a way for you to show your ass and ignorance.
Exactly.
It's true.
Exactly.
Somebody had to pay the cost
Mhm.
for you to have the freedom to say, I will not be bridled
Exactly.
by any confines of societal norm and respect and morality because I am the boss of myself.
The
Sir?
story of the movie last night
Is that what
was a very good example of paving the way. These black women had joined the Women's Army Corps,
Mhm.
which was a separate branch for females during World War II. Um, they were trained in a segregated environment, of course. They were set up to fail, of course, but these women prevailed. They were given a task that seemed almost impossible, to clear out about 12 warehouses, biggest
71
airplane,
million pieces.
It's so
71 million pieces of mail. Thank you. They got 6 months to do it in order to get all this
Gary,
mail
you
out.
giving too much. Spoilers.
No,
That's
this
the
is
sto-
not-
that's
no,
the story.
That's the history.
That's the story.
That's the history, though.
But that's what I'm saying. They
But-
don't know that, Gary.
But they need to know even before they go in.
True. I
One
agree.
of the things that these women were tasked to do, along with the ball and chain around their ankles of being black and a woman. Okay, this is we're trying. Our society is trying to turn back the hands of time and put women back in the kitchen, barefoot and pregnant.
Lord Jesus, he didn't went there.
Yes, I'm going there.
Ooh.
One of the greatest things.
Where's my little things that go on the podcast? Like,
misnomers or disclaimers?
oh Lord.
Disclaimers.
This
But one of the most important things that we have in our community is the backbone of our women.
It's true.
If you don't have a strong woman in your corner, you're gonna fail.
Whew,
And that's the saga of black men.
whew.
We gotta have our mama,
Sir.
our sister, our significant other. If we don't have someone strong in our background,
Keyword strong.
strong,
Whew, whew.
learned, because she knows things you don't know. She understands things we don't understand.
Whew.
True.
So one of the things that these women did was complete what was the line in Star Trek,
Final Fantasy.
the test. No, the test that they had, the Kobayashi Maru,
Yeah.
the impossible scenario to conquer something, how you do and how you act under stress and under command. These women got 6 months to get these 71 million pieces of mail distributed to the front lines. Mail was very important then. That was
It's
the
like
email,
taking
text
the
message
it's taking
of
the
today.
phone away from a
Exactly.
person today.
Exactly.
It's the communication method
Exactly.
that too often there were so many sentimental experiences that didn't matter. It happened in the 40s.
Mhm.
It's still relevant.
Still
Well,
is important today.
still important today. It's just in a digital format today.
Mhm.
I can't imagine if while I went through OEF, OIF, we have videos. I got to see what it was like while not just as a veteran, but as a spouse.
Mhm.
I'm on video, on location, seeing all of this.
Mhm.
I'm going through it with him. I'm in the barracks with him. I'm in the tent with him. You see can you imagine not giving anything away? They're in their heads imagining what it would be like. Now we don't have to imagine. You can see you have movie productions that can make it real for you. But that military spouse is with that spouse in the process. That's why when we had the VAC, I'm like, I don't think you understand. I'm a spouse. I was a spouse too. I'm not just the veteran. I know what that feels like.
But also think about the beginning of some of the things that we saw in the film. Parents,
The
they
parents
hadn't heard
grieving.
from their young sons.
Oh, I thought that was my grandma.
4 years.
All I could think about was my grandma.
They hadn't heard from their young soldiers that were fighting in Europe for 2 to 3 years.
Can you imagine me not
Nothing.
listening to Tinny?
And
Not
our country's postal system couldn't handle the job.
Postal system could not handle
how
the
many
job.
but that's what I'm saying. I can't wait for them to hear how many people it took and failed at
Mhm.
trying to do
Mhm.
what they did, and then said, "Oh, and I'll give you extra time
Exactly.
back."
And they were tasked from a presidential level.
Oh, and
Eleanor Roosevelt.
Oh, that was
and
good.
Mary McLeod Bethune. If you don't know who Mary McLeod Bethune was, please look her up. All right. They were instrumental in
I just wanna
giving these
Google it right
women
now
a
and let
shot
them know.
to fix this. And they did. They were given 6 months to get all this mail distributed. And once again, I have to say it again. They did it in 3 months, 90 days. They got all this mail out. 71 million pieces of mail.
And it should have been impossible to do it in 6 months.
Exactly. They were, and did it under arduous conditions. England kept getting bombed by the Germans. In the meantime, they were given horrible conditions to work in. They were fighting on these women were fighting on two fronts. That was the name of the original book.
That's where I was about to
uses
go
as a
there.
reference.
Tell them the stories, the real stories that we've heard.
Exactly.
Tell them about, like, the movie's one thing, you guys. It's like, we know these people. They're still here.
Yep.
The stories. I mean, there's a whole different presence of who they are as beings. I feel like we've evolved and don't even realize they carry an essence that we do not.
Funny you mentioned that.
Mm-hmm.
I've questioned and I've had conversations with Black men, young and old. Are we made of the same kind of stuff?
I can tell you right now,
These men
no, I was not
Exactly.
made. And
Exactly.
I'll be the first to admit, I'll speak for myself.
One of the greatest things that we've seen is, if you talk about the saga of Black men and women during World War II, you have to realize the history.
We didn't go through that.
They were born and raised during a depression.
We did not
think we
go
got
through
a hard
that.
time now. We don't have a hard time.
We
now.
didn't go through that.
Nobody's been through anything now.
Not
But
that.
These people, Black and white and Hispanic and Indian, every other nationality lives in this country at that time, went through the same thing. They had to live and be raised during a depression, then go fight a world war. Think about that.
That's why I said we are not. First of all, the environment, each generation, I'm gonna speak for this society. I can't speak for other people in other countries because they keep things very culturally true when it comes to lessons and foundations that they must go through and hardships, which quote unquote hardship, but that's the tuition and the molding of that character. Back in the day, y'all would say, no, it builds character. It builds character. That's what I mean. What I mean is when people say, Chris, how are you this young and you are the go-to for all of this? Character building. I've been through some things. I've been through some things me and your grandma could talk about. It's not about a book. It's not about my degrees and certifications. It's not about that. It was the essence of what I went through that brought the tenacity and the capacity for me to hold true to persevere.
Absolutely.
That is not when I'm consulting and I'm mentoring and I'm going through this. I'm like, you haven't been through enough yet. It's a character thing yet. You got to go through it in order to develop the expansion, even in your brain. It's a physiological experience. You got to transform. The butterfly didn't get the butterfly that way. It had to be the caterpillar first. It had to sit in the cocoon and go through a deteriorating metamorphosis. It had to go through processes that nobody could speak of, that nobody sees inside this little shell. That's life.
Exactly.
Do you see the beautiful flower saying, oh, I hate the soil because it hurt me when I came out? It doesn't. It appreciates the abundance of the experience. And that's where I was talking in our last podcast, duality. There is, yes, it hurt. But I can guarantee you, for all the souls that came after from the hurt that I experienced and the healing that came with that, baby, I promise you it was worth it.
You have to go through it to get to it, wherever to it is.
And to see those women go through it. Now, what I wanted to bring up, now I'm sitting there with Anne-Marie and Sosafina, got my vet center. Look, I got the VA, I got every single network partner in a whole row, and we sitting there eating, right? It was a whole family reunion, y'all. Tell me it wasn't. There was not one seat open, not even a handicap walker.
Sure wasn't.
There was not one seat open. This is where I want to say, and there was a numerous. This is every era represented.
Yeah.
Every single branch, every single experience, all women of color majority. And what did we hear? Oh, that happened to me too. So this is, wait a minute, that's 1945. Why that base don't look too much different than what it do right now? You understand where I'm saying? There are systems that have been in place and have not moved from its ideology, successful or not. That level of strength. Let me tell you something. When people say, how do you keep fighting these things? It's because of what I go through when somebody tells me I can't. Tell me I can't. Please tell me I can't. Please tell me I cannot do something. And I show you better than I can tell you.
That's added motivation.
It's just nothing but more fuel. You giving me that good dry redwood for me to burn up. Okay? Give it to me. Because I love that idea that you would tell me the impossibility when the very essence of me is possible. That's what she carried in the leadership.
Hey, you know what, real quick, Christina? I will say last night I had put all my machismo aside, and I literally cried doing the film, and I'll tell you why.
We
It
did
reminded me
too.
a lot of my grandmother, because that was her era, and I never got to meet.
You put your machismo down?
Well, yeah, because what happened was I never got to meet my grandfathers. They were deceased before I was born. But I remember my grandmothers hammering into me the things that they knew that my grandfather would have done to me. So, yeah, it's true. They say a lot of times that a woman can make a boy a man, but she was using the wisdom and characteristics which she saw of her husband, my grandmother, and she was instilling that into me. And what really funny, meaning that I never met them, I think of years later when I started doing some of the business ventures and things in life, my mom said, you know what, my dad used to do those same things. And I'm laughing because I remember as a little boy at 5 years old, we come in late. My grandmother made me go into the house first in case somebody was in there. Now, what was I going to do at 5 years old? But I'm just saying.
You see what she was ingraining in you as a man.
What you were saying.
So wait a minute, Rocco. I'm finna go deep. Hold up now. There was a post that you made. I went in, brother, but I couldn't post it because I agreed with you. But I was like, Lord, I'm gonna get canceled if I say this right now.
I'm very controversial.
No, but it's not controversial. It's what he just said. First of all, it was the alpha female comment. Now, everybody calls me an alpha female. I'm like, what is wrong with you? I am not a man.
Nope.
I don't care. I can change my oil and plow a field and change my water heater and do the most and be all of those quality characteristics and weld a few things and make a dream catcher in the afternoon and sing Moon to Bed. But that does not constitute that I have the essence of being a man.
Right.
I raised a man.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I couldn't instill in him those things. That's his father's job. That's not me. I could teach you how to be the most amazing human being of love and light, and I can instill in you the old school indigenous practices that your grandfather has taught me.
Exactly.
But what I can never do is tell you the urges, the sensations, and the creation of what it is to be a man.
Thank you. That was the point.
That sounds like a song.
I should probably go back and take it.
Right?
And by the way, for the record,
There she
what's
goes.
time, place, space? Don't steal my shit.
There you go.
No, 11:49.
Oh, yeah.
You now you're bringing in Jill Scott in this conversation.
What?
Yes. Anyway, and from interesting that you mentioned about from a man's standpoint.
I had to, because this is a woman. And so women get in this mindset as a militarized woman for generation. I don't ever forget. Yes, I absolutely wanted to be a ranger like my father. Yes, I went and shaved my head when I went in and said, I'm going to be a cop because that's the only combat experience I'm going to get. Yes, I sure did, until I went to Bullis. And then I went through the process, and then I busted my body completely. And it didn't mean that I wasn't worthy to be in the military. It meant that I didn't meet the fullness of what could have been. I can't carry my brother who's a combat veteran. Have you seen him lately? He's a whole beast. And so when he asked me and him both, oh, we're going to go follow our father's footsteps, follow our legacy. And we had this conversation. And my brother will tell you, hands down, don't ever go toe to toe with her. She's like that. But never would he think that you can, Chrissy. That's me. That's why I'm a man. Let me. Now, this society's got it twisted. And well, I had to. That don't mean it's right. That don't mean you should have. That don't mean that you can't. It means that I should never have to compromise that part of my essence, my divine feminine, to have to stand in that space. Let them do that. Not saying you can't, but what I did recognize is when we are in those environments, I'm going to break it down to you. I'm going to call a thing a thing. Let me tell you about the sexual assaults that come with that. Let me tell you about the abuse that comes with that. Let me tell you about why did you you get hit by a 258-pound man and see if you can have that in your chest. That's not something that is talked about, but that's absolutely a known that you're going to have to go through all of these levels of things that go along men only. Now you want to be included. You're going to have to catch that too. Now, women in the military have been like, oh, but we have to be included. Yes, we are included, but we have to also know time, place, space, time. I would never want to. I hear the stories of the combat veterans. I can't do what we know our directors went through. Shout out to Tony. I love you so much. Shout out to you, Raider Marines. Shout out to those in MARSOC. Shout out to them. That's what I'm talking about. Shout out to those individuals. Because as a woman who has carried and been a 50 gunner trained, I'm telling you, that's not my road. And I don't think people can step outside of their ego enough to say that, yes, you can go in combat environments, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about that specific, what we saw yesterday, front line.
Well, one of the things that you just touched upon, and we have to sometimes remind ourselves, everyone has a role.
Everybody has a lane.
Everybody cannot do the same thing.
How many times did you mentor me that?
How much do we have to do just to be ourselves?
Well, Gary, wouldn't you also say that on what Christina said? See, she is created and we're created to do everything each other can't do.
Correct. Exactly. It's complementary.
Exactly.
It's
That's that duality.
It's a duality. That's what I'm trying to reestablish in this community of confusion. There is a duality here. I'm not saying this has nothing to do with gender, everything to do with who you are as a person in the capacity. You were raised in this divinity of this energy. Chemistry is chemistry. Biology is biology, period, point blank.
So without giving off anything in the movie, as a man, we saw the movie together. We as men could not have done what those women did.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
No, you can't look.
Finish. Let us finish.
Yeah.
Let us finish. When we were in the car, we were talking about the things that these women came up with.
Come on.
That men wouldn't have been able to do.
You don't think that way.
What was the example that you came
I'll
up
give
with?
a perfect example. If we had a scenario right now on this table that we only could go by smell to be able to tell.
Well, hell, we going to hell. We're going to hell.
Listen to me. Listen to me. If it came down to a perfume, a woman's perfume, would I be able to smell it and say, okay, the women over here wear that? Or would she be more apt to smell it and say, well, you know what, I wear that sometime. And you know, Rocco, that came from over in such and such, such and such. Think about that. And I'm not trying to get into it because I want to tell part of the movie. But what I'm saying, there are things that you're gifted as a species of a woman that is designed for me and to assist me, and vice versa.
Are we
So
really,
we could
bruh?
not have, as men, we could not have done what those women did.
I just want to say
It's
thank
not
you.
in our DNA as men to do it.
Absolutely.
I just want to say thank you, because
Sure.
the reality is I need, first of all, your generation is very, like the toxic portion of your generation. I'm going to say it. You got a toxic portion of your generation that falls into that rigidity of oppression, and they refuse to see the empathy that is needed, that you can't end all be all as a man. You can't.
You do know that was a design.
I know.
Okay.
Yeah.
But a lot of times we miss that point.
It's the point that
the division within the community. If you want to destroy a community, you divide the man and the woman.
Right.
I can never, like, one of the things and why I felt my marriage was so successful was because I know my role. I knew my role. Even though I was under the vehicle, I understood what that role meant.
They're gonna be mad at you talking about you knew your role.
I don't give a damn. And that's why, do they pay my bills? So, and that's the other problem. Why are you worried about somebody else? Anyways,
But that's
so
your design to do.
that's my design. That's my choice. If I choose to have a partner, that's why there's so much dysfunction and so much divorce. You don't know your space. You don't know, okay, that person's in your life. If they don't know themselves, you just willy-nilly, lead her where? To hell? You ain't led yourself into success. How you gonna lead somebody else? First of all, and I say this with strong emphasis, don't try.
Here it comes.
That sounded like a threat.
What I want to say is, if you can't do for you what you're asking someone else to do for you. Gary is my divorce mentor, just all stuff to the side. The reason why, because it takes one to know one, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I was in a very, 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 very dark place after my divorce. And I'm saying this because I knew there were things that I needed to do as a woman. Instead of blame, shame, guilting, doing all the most, putting myself in the grave, because that's where I was going. Pause. I had a bunch of elders around me that said, hold up. Look at yourself first. Hold up. I had to pause. What did I do as a wife? What did I give this man? Y'all gonna be all up in my tea. What did I give this man? It's one thing for you to think. You think what you bring to the table. I brought a whole house full of furniture, okay? I didn't come into the marriage not having. So let me start with that. That was a part of his checklist and qualifications. She has hers. When I'm asking you, Gary, when I first went to Gary, I said, Gary, I don't want nothing from a man. I was doing the most toxic femininity that you could think of. F them, you know. I ain't doing this. Yeah, I was angry. Oh my God, F them. So Gary said, hold up. Look, this is a tuition here. What is this teaching you? What is this showing you as a woman? Don't worry about that portion. You made it by far longer than most. There's nothing that you lost. There's no defeat. There's no death. I don't know who needs to hear that. There's a death of that version of you. But there's an evolving experience. You got the tools and the things that you needed. I know y'all heard me and Avrion talking about it. It's an adventure. What did you pick up on your adventure that person gave you? Did they leave you better off than they left you? I could say 50% of the time I've heard no. But for the other portion of the time, if you could be conscious enough to realize, I'm wiser. I learned this. So it brought me into the understanding that as a woman, before I do this again with anybody, did I define myself and my role first?
And that goes back to the movie last night.
That's where I want you to
filled
know.
their role.
That's where I was
and
going.
excelled at it beyond anything a lesser human being with that thought process, and I mean men, would have come up with.
Exactly.
And it was one of those things they made a way out of no way.
Do you see the strength that I'm talking about? My strength is not to, I got into this, I have so many great loves that I found along this journey these last few years. And so many great lessons about the roles of life. Stay in your lane. That's a military thing that we like. Get in your lane, girl. And that's not an oppression thing. That's it. If you in his lane, who's doing your lane? If you busy doing this role, who's doing this? Because there's a deficit here that needs to be addressed. I love the fact that it was about when I know what it is that I bring here to any situation, any relationship. These women all said, well, I do this. They knew those gifts that I keep telling people. What's your gift? You never know when that's going to be needed and come out.
But you have to remember, the commanding officer
Wait,
humbled
don't give
herself
it too much. Don't give it too much.
and asked, how do we do this better?
Woo! That's what a woman.
That's what opened the door.
But that's what a woman will do. A man will take a primal, a hammer, and beat it, and beat it, and beat it, and you ain't gonna go nowhere. Instead of stopping in the empathy of, wait a minute, what am I doing wrong? What do I need to do better?
Exactly.
A woman in her divine essence
There you go.
is far, the strength of that alone, baby, will defy, will win all wars. The divine feminine don't got to fight that way.
Right.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
Now you brought up something I'm going to elaborate on.
Oh, well, here we go.
That's why men are so deathly afraid of women.
Don't do it right now, sir. Don't, you got him cracking up in the back. He's like, here we go. Look, I'm gonna let y'all have this conversation because Rocco got some feedback on this one.
You've heard me use the term the power of the V.
Lord Jesus, we're live, Gary.
Yeah, I know,
I
that's why
told
said
you,
V.
Jesus.
I said it appropriate.
You
I
did. Listen.
The effect, the positive and or negative effect that a woman in our lives can have on us.
Oh, I could break a man.
If you got no, but you can also build a man.
I was saying that in the way that, yeah, I mean, I didn't mean it in a bad way, but I'm just saying, like,
break a male.
Yeah.
You high five on that. High five on that.
Our beauty, the beauty of.
I didn't mean it that way. Let me just say, I want you can make or break.
When we get back
Damn it.
when we start realizing how much we need each other, that's how much better we're going to be, not only as an individual couple, not only as a neighborhood, a community. And when I said as a couple, I didn't differentiate. It doesn't have to be man and woman. It could be whatever you think a couple is.
Well, that is where the choice is for that person. And I don't think people understand that. If we're looking at you as a being, I'm not looking at you as man or woman. I'm looking at you as a spiritual being. And I don't think a lot of people understand that. We are all in our own essence and frequency.
Exactly. Where we stay in our lane. Okay.
Yes.
But the beauty of it is that we're afraid of, as men, in a lot of ways, and I'm generalizing here, we're afraid of the effect that women can have on.
Why do you get Delulu after, sir? Yeah, I mean, you guys are some seasoned gentlemen. Let's just go ahead and get this started.
Well, it's designed.
You finally have been taken, so. What?
It's no, hear me out.
Oh, I forgot you ministry. You finna do it.
Well, I wasn't always a minister. I've done other things too.
Lord Jesus.
It's designed that way. Okay, I'll give you an example. I don't even mind saying it. I remember when I used to be a pimp.
Jesus, Joe, here we go. Is that clear?
Yeah, it's gonna be very clear.
No, I mean, is it clear?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, seriously. I did. I knew when I had women at that time up under my, I'm gonna put it that way.
Oh
And
Lord,
I knew how to put them in my authority.
Jesus Christ.
And hear me out, as a man. However,
Ooh.
I'm gonna say for the sake of keeping it clean, my bottom was more of a pimp than me.
Oh Lord,
But
we in
that's why
Vegas,
she
y'all.
was my bottom.
Jesus
And I'm saying that to
Christ.
say, when you have a woman who understands her divine feminine, right? Okay, it's 5 men sitting in this room right now, other than Christine.
I'm sorry.
We can get hurt to the highest of whatever. We're gonna call on mama. If I fall out right now, I'm gonna call on mama.
Yep.
I remember going to jail and calling my woman before I even called anybody else.
Christ.
Why? Because I knew she was gonna get it together and come get me. So what I'm saying,
On the battlefield,
there you go.
and
Come on.
somebody gets hit,
Come on.
the first person he calls out for is his
His
mama.
Exactly. And that goes to what you were saying.
You took me on a ride.
So now we have this.
Pause. Wait, I gotta get myself together. You
That's
guys.
my Heisman post.
Oh God, y'all.
But no, the thing is, our women
Yeah.
are our strength.
Yes.
You know, and if we didn't have anything to protect, what the hell are we here
What
for?
are we here for?
Oh, the land.
So Gary, you would say if we were in the battlefield in combat right now, and Christina was with us,
Wait a
and we
minute.
see she's about to be in a situation where she's going to get hurt.
Man,
We
to
gonna
distress.
run the damsel.
Listening
It's
to
a
you guys. Thank you for the
natural
laugh, Rocco.
inclination.
I need that laugh.
It is a natural inclination. Now I know that's why sometimes there is objections to women on the battlefield.
Right.
Now
There's a lot of objections
there's
to
a lot
that.
of objections in that. However, to just up and say that you can't do it because we say you can't do it.
No, that's
It's wrong.
wrong. That's
Because
wrong. If she qualifies
we'll
and
see
she
some-
can,
We'll see some of the same things. Now let's take it full circle. Let's go back to when they said Black people couldn't do it.
but that's what I'm getting at.
Exactly.
So that was a part of the movie as
Mhm.
well. Oh, you're not going to qualify. You're Black. What the
Uh-huh.
hell?
And
You
you're a
know,
woman.
And you're a woman.
So you're a double minority.
Right.
All right. So now the thing is,
All I could think about, hold on, qualifications. There's a part in the movie that I have to appreciate and say shout out to Tyler Perry about, because this conversation just went all kinds of directions for
we
us.
went down the rabbit
We're
hole.
down
I
the
said we were going there, but Alice in Wonderland. So this adventure, sponsored by Rocco, I feel when it was the qualification conversation, and don't say too much about it, was like, oh, I didn't pass
Someone
that.
on the train.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah.
So I was like, why I'm sitting there with all my sisters, and we were like, why is that the same conversation
Mhm.
that we all had 70 years later?
Because the battle is never over.
It's not over.
We
You
got to fight on all
constantly
fronts.
Have to fight. We still have to fight. Here we are now. The chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff
Mhm.
is a Black man, Air Force, 4 stars.
Whoop whoop.
And they're going to tell him, and they've never served or served at the capacity.
Wait,
with
is this
him.
something I haven't been briefed on yet?
You should have been briefed, but we're going to brief you now.
I'm gonna brief you now.
Oh my God.
They had the audacity
To tell this man.
to tell this man he wasn't qualified.
The seasoned general.
They had the audacity to say that certain operations like the evacuation of Afghanistan was done wrong and we need to prosecute. Now, we've got a group of people
I was
who
on.
never served anything,
And
never served
ROTC.
anybody but themselves.
That's it.
They just happen to be, I got to go there, white. And they think that they know better of what goes on because
Jesus.
they
Just tell the truth.
have this feeling they don't want women empowered because it takes away from their manhood. manhood is not predicated on keeping your thumb on your woman.
I'm gonna have to have a whole disclaimer for this whole clip.
Yeah, you're gonna have to put it on there.
Yeah, put it on there. I'll sign off.
But the bottom line is, if your manhood is predicated on how you keep your woman in control,
Whoo, Lord, you
You're not
going
much
there,
of a
right?
man.
Elias, Lord. Whoo.
Is that what I said?
Oh my
That's what
God.
you
He
said.
said, what did you say?
So now I can't do the good that I do in the community if I had not done the bad.
Oh, I know this. Our trauma is our triumph. I have told
That
people
goes
this.
what you saying about your divorce.
Absolutely. I could not have. Now, first of all, I did not have a typical divorce at
Right.
all.
I get it. I get it.
But what it took an understanding as a woman, because I was left in this very vulnerable experience after. Lord have mercy. I thought to myself, now, first of all, I hope my dad doesn't see this. Oh God, he's gonna second everything you said. Jesus Christ. So, my dad called me because I had the epilepsy that had the stroke and all of that, and you guys knew. Most of my followers know about the epileptic experiences. The idea that I would not be able to get better on my own as a woman. And the idea that I got a briefing from my father. My father.
So you got a briefing.
I have a briefing. He briefs me.
That's what men do.
That's what men do. And he didn't ask my opinion. That's why I called it a briefing.
Right?
Okay. It's a briefing. Shut up.
So, man.
And listen. Yeah.
And listen. So he calls me. I pull myself from under the covers. He said, gal, now it's going to take a hell of a lot for you to do this on your own. Without a man, you would perish. I wanted to we see that phone. I'm getting this briefing, bro. I understood what he was trying to say to me, right? Because this is a generation that knows, honey, you have a lot on your plate. How do you think you're going to manage all of this, going from having 2 extra souls to help you to now 1, and you don't have a man to help hold your oil pan if you need to? That's the truth. But wait for it. Now this is deep. He wasn't saying, now it took me a minute to understand what he was saying. He wasn't saying I wasn't capable.
Right.
He wasn't saying I couldn't do it.
Right.
What he was saying was, I prefer you not to have to be a man and a woman
There you go.
with everything you have going on health-wise. You're going to need a man. Now I was like, now, you're right, Daddy. I need about 10 of them.
That's okay.
And I will have a roster of men, a lot of them. You're right, Daddy, to do every single aspect of my life that a man needs to do.
Mhm.
Now, granted, they on payroll, but I needed a man.
Mhm.
You understand what I'm saying? Because when I broke my hands and couldn't change my oil, I couldn't call my girlfriend.
And you could even work your divine feminine to get one out the payroll, couldn't you?
No, listen, pimp. Listen.
No, I'm being honest.
But see, once again,
Wait, power of the bee. Don't do it.
Yeah,
I am not prostituting myself
No,
to get my
no,
oil
that's
changed,
not it.
homie.
That's not prostitution.
Jesus
just
Christ.
being a woman,
No,
though,
no,
to get a man to do
there's-
it without being on your payroll.
Listen,
We're going to have this conversation. What?
Being a divine feminine woman can get a man to do things without having to be on your payroll.
exactly.
Correct.
If you
Now,
tell me right now, Rocco, can you help me carry this box to the car?
now, Rocco,
Now,
you
I'm
know
not
I
gonna say
have.
you got to pay me.
No, and you have.
But there was a time I would have told you got to pay me.
Sir, Jesus.
Now we're going back down that rabbit hole.
What are you doing it? Cam, no meetings with y'all. Jesus. Listen, Rocco.
Hey, I'm sorry, audience. I'm Rocco Lacey. I co-sign this message.
He has his own nonprofit.
And I only let women work with me now.
Lord.
That's not looking good, homie.
No, because what I do
Oh.
takes women to do it.
That's not looking
Guys can't do it. It takes women to do what I
It takes
need to be
it.
done.
You're exactly right. No, hold on. Wait a minute. Let's take a man can do those positions, but it takes a man of experience that has went through the evolution of having empathetic.
Or he understanding his femininity. that's
Correct. He could be
If-
tapping into his feminine
in him.
energy.
Empathy-
Okay, I didn't say that, but
Empathy.
okay. Wait, hold on.
Empathy is a very, very big word.
I said that it has
You know.
to be, and the reason why I say I have men on a roster payroll is because of what you started out with this exploited toxic femininity of transactions, which is just straight up prostitution. Sorry, not sorry.
It's not toxic what you do.
No,
You got men that you can control 10 men to do things for you. That's not toxic.
I'm Calypso.
You're a woman.
So
You being a real woman will move a man.
I am a real woman,
That's
and I
what
don't
I'm saying.
have to pay these men to do these things
That's
for
what
me,
I'm saying.
and they don't expect anything from me.
Exactly.
They are willing to do. They know that I provide for them the support that
Most
they
definitely.
need.
I've seen
like
do it.
you,
You've done it for
you.
me. Y'all know
I
what
have,
I'm saying?
and that can be a problem for my real partner in life because I have rosters of men that are willing to do things for me. That's a problem. I didn't know, Avrion. You didn't brief me.
But one of the things that brings us back to the movie, when they showed what they could do through their divine femininity.
Correct. Like I don't need to
Then-
do that.
Then they had the men eating out of their hands.
Correct.
And didn't know they were eating out of a black woman's hand.
Correct.
Because
That's what I'm
now-
saying. That's what I'm getting at. You don't have to do
don't
what you
have to.
saw in the beginning
Exactly.
to get a man
Right.
to be there and do for you in a healthy way. Not like Rocco was saying back in the day, you're gonna have to do something strange for a piece of change.
Right.
We ain't talking.
They
But
didn't know no better. I'm sorry.
Lord Jesus,
Forgive me, Father.
just repent. He's
You know,
repenting
now-
right now for all. This
But
is
no,
Vegas. We're
all-
filming out of Vegas.
We're talking about the beauty
Mhm.
of perseverance. We're talking about beauty of a strength that ain't here.
Mhm.
We're talking about
here.
an intellectual. No, wait a minute. We
I didn't say the V. I meant the womb.
That's
Womb
what,
man,
that's,
yeah.
We're gonna bring
Oh.
that last.
Oh,
Trust me.
I was like, I wasn't talking about my,
The power of a line of thought that men can't think of.
Right.
Like we were mentioned before about
Mhm.
something as simple as the perfume that the letters are perfume.
People tell me like I can't forget your smell, and I'm like, what?
Absolutely.
No,
No.
shut up, Rocco.
But no, where does that come from?
That's what
That
I'm
comes
getting
from our
at.
primal.
That's what
Right.
I'm getting at.
Right.
That part
Exactly.
was also discussed. That's what I'm getting at is when you have that much of an effect on someone,
Mhm.
they will not forget you.
Mhm.
You don't have to chase nothing. Your divine feminine attracts all things that are for you. You don't have to do the most. Like the idea that oh my God,
Mhm.
the idea that this network that we have now, you imagine how I'm embodying and I'm looking at this and I'm like, oh my God, look at how all these women here are in the network that we've created here, doing the very essence, all these special little things that each one of them does
Mhm.
to create a community solution. We are the army of one
Right.
that we saw depicted still to this day
Mhm.
out of the uniform.
Mhm.
Right.
That is what impacted me.
Right.
When we got out, shout out Chaplain Tamia. Like Tamia was there, right, with her mother.
Okay.
And so you saw the elders there. And so when I walked in, I couldn't see because that's part of my issue. I can't see that well. It was dark. It was too dark. So I couldn't really see. But then I started trying to focus in. And I'm like, oh my God, look at all the elders. And first of all, it's a Thursday and traffic is not okay right now.
They came.
They came through the traffic. Look, all the disabilities. I said it was the orthopedic row. It was that.
That story was
That-
about them.
That story was
Exactly.
showing them, whether family, sister, servant, or soldier, whatever it was.
I was getting calls up to 3 o'clock yesterday afternoon.
Mhm.
Am I on the list? Can I get somebody else? I said, come and we'll get you in.
Not a
Because
seat.
there was not any
empty.
way we were going to let them turn anybody away.
Not a
We
seat
have
empty.
SRO.
Mhm.
You know, they had that row for roped off for the press. I said, why is there a row on? Oh, that's for the press. No, it ain't.
Mhm.
And I went and tore down the tape.
Oh, that's what that tape was for.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That we can't do that. That's ADA.
Not where the row was. That's not ADA.
Oh,
Now you talking about down at the bottom. No, they had a row that they had set aside
For
for
press.
press
oh,
I saw
for a
you
minute
did that.
until I tore the tape
I
down.
saw you did that.
You know, because it's like, oh, we're wasting seats here. Ain't no damn press
We are
coming
the press.
that gets there. We are the press. Okay, so you got more people in there.
Mhm.
But more important, I saw a room or a theater full of proud women.
Mhm.
women
When I
that could
took a
do
picture-
anything.
When I took a photo, as the credits were rolling, when I said nobody move, and I took a picture of everybody in the audience, all women and a few spots of men.
It might not even
Okay.
Was
been
it a
20 men. It might
Samsung?
not even been 20 men in there. Huh?
Did you have a Samsung?
No, darling.
Why did you not? You know, the whole night.
Darling,
for-
you want me to show you the picture of this
Yes,
iPhone 16?
We're gonna send it. Oh, you got the 16?
Yes. Thank you very much.
Well, I'm
I-
sorry.
No, but
As
all
these-
joking aside, now we're giving a shout out to Apple. But yeah,
Shout out
Apple pretty
Samsung.
tough.
No.
Apple pretty tough. But anyway, I was proud to be of service to these women because that's why I just kind of took over.
I don't think there was 20 men in the whole building.
It might not have been, and as it
In the
shouldn't have been.
Mm-mm. It shouldn't have been.
It shouldn't have been at the theater.
Well,
And it was just enough. And one guy dropped off his mama or something. I said she'll be all right when you come back.
he
I said,
dropped
"How
his
come
mom
you not-"
off.
I said, how come you ain't staying? Well, I gotta go pick up my. Yeah, okay, go ahead. We got her, and I made sure she got in there.
Sure did.
So it's one of those things. I have served. I will be of service.
Right. That's all.
What
That's
do
the bottom
you
line.
What do you see? I felt so empowered.
You should.
Mhm. Should have.
It was powerful to sit with the women
Mhm.
and create a whole nother flight,
Mhm.
all different ages,
Mhm.
times, spaces with that was what was crazy to me. All those different
The same
ages,
stories.
the same story.
The same story.
It's the same system, rigid in its ways. So each era gets a taste of the very essence of this character building, is what I'm going to label it as, because it's military. I'm not going to label it as abuse, but it's just straight up. It's nasty work.
It is what it
It is
is.
what it
It's
is.
nasty work. It's nasty work. What I remember hearing, feeling, seeing, experiencing was a personal experience that too many of us knew and felt, and was like, no, go ahead and tell them the rest of the stories. Go ahead and tell them what else they did. Go ahead and tell them about, when we got kicked out and how that court martial that didn't happen would have happened. Go ahead and tell them about that. How many of us got kicked out because no reason at all? How many of us are other than honorable for no reason at all? And so the reason why is chalked up. They were sitting there spying, waiting on that very minute, collecting paperwork, collecting all the evidence and necessary. But here's the thing that I love seeing about this women's flight. They didn't turn on each other because of very specific of what she said. It's not going to happen because in other ones they do.
Please explain to the audience what a flight is.
Oh, well, I'll
Like
let
a platoon, like a
the reason
unit.
why I say flight, because I forgot.
Air Force.
Air Force. I'm Air Force. They're Marines. And this was an Army Corps, but Air Force comes from Army. And so when I say flight, I mean platoon,
Mhm.
flight,
Unit,
unit.
company, things of that nature.
So
for you
think
to-
hundreds, or think anywhere from 25 and above amount of people. No, not even that. More than that. So a massive amount of individuals.
But even you were talking about the court martial that didn't happen. I learned something at the World War II Museum in New Orleans when I took Mr. Jack. When I
You went to
escorted
escort Mr. Jackson.
and they had a display of an article. These two black medical technicians during World War II that were court-martialed for insubordination. Now, these women were X-ray technicians, phlebotomists, things of that nature, people who do everything in the lab, hospital, things of that nature on a technical testing level. And the commanding officer, the head doctor at this particular facility, had them cleaning bedpans. He said, I don't want colored women here, and what I'm going to do, they're going to do the dirty work, or they're not going to be here, and they're going to do what I tell them to do. He had them court-martialed. They got a year hard labor, okay, as women, because they rebelled. Now, that's just one story. I hadn't heard about that prior, and I pride myself on being a historian. There's always a little few things that fall through the cracks that you don't learn. So constantly you're refilling your cup of learning. But that's another movie in itself.
So many stories.
We have to learn and study our history in order not to repeat it.
And tell the story of it.
And tell the story of it, share why we are where we are today, both good and bad. Why are we here? How did we get here? I had a conversation, this was between the men that I ran into, younger man, and he was fired up. He said, I wouldn't join, I wouldn't have joined. I said, you don't have any idea what you would have done.
Not at that time,
era.
no.
And I would have been, I'd have jumped off the ship. Okay,
Lord.
right. Listen, that sounds all real well and good. Okay, we can all sound Mr. Macho. I said, but I had to pull rank on him, and I said, look, I'm your elder. I'm telling you what you would have done. You would have tried to fit in some kind of way. Everybody's not going to be Nat Turner. No. And a blank look fell over his face because he didn't know who the hell Nat Turner was. Okay.
And so that.
But more important, all these tidbits of history it's out there. No, you didn't hear about it in school. Probably didn't pay attention in school anyway.
Lord,
but more important, the information is there. The education is out there. Your magic phone, pull that Samsung out. It's in there too. The Library of Alexandria. Just pull that out. The Library of Alexandria is in that phone. You can find out anything other than seeing some TikTok crap.
Gary.
Big booty shots.
Gary.
And something funny, the kittens. Okay, I like them too. I look at all of that. But I also want to look at my history. I need to know what else is going on. You do too.
It's called Sankofa.
Yes. You got to know what's going on. You have to know where you've been, to know where you are, to know where you're going. That's the bottom line. Go see the movie.
Yep. Go see the movie.
When does it come out?
November 20th. November 20th is December 20th.
Y'all,
November, damn, we still listen.
Jesus.
December 20th.
We're baby boomers.
It's out on Netflix. Please see it.
I can't wait to watch it again.
Please see it. It's good. Yeah, and when you watch it more than once, you're going to see things you didn't see the first time.
And shout out to Kerry Washington, because she really embodied that. And I know it's sound premature, but her actual role in that movie, that's Oscar worthy. Because you know why? The person who she portrayed was Oscar worthy.
Well, that's the part where I don't. But let me go into it. If we're talking about qualifications, I think
sorry.
Denzel said it best
Mhm.
when they were talking about films, where you
Remember
have
that.
to, you know what I'm going.
Mhm.
You can't make it Oscar worthy to a person that doesn't have the living experience to know the depth that she had to go into
Mhm.
Okay.
in order to say that it
Right.
was that, you know,
Yeah.
like I said, you could go ahead and put that Bugatti in that cornfield and that farmer will be like, yeah, it's just a piece. That's a real rich car. He doesn't know the
Right.
full value and worth.
Mhm.
You know, you're in the wrong space, place, time to think that they can understand the depth of the value and the worthiness. That's was something that
Okay.
I embodied in understanding. I'm gonna break it all the way back to Color Purple since we're talking about films.
Mhm.
Women can do so much in their divinity, right?
Sure.
And all of its greatness. And I am not one for separatism. That's why I keep saying there's roles and spaces and places for everybody. Women holding this beautiful creating womb of life, incubator, life, right? Everything that she does affects living experiences,
Of course.
man, woman, child, anything. Same as a man. You carry life within you too.
Ah, that's the point I want when you talked about the womb. Yeah, what makes us together is because we have to be together to survive.
I
Yeah.
need you as a
But
man in this life experience.
but we need you more
Well, thank you.
because you're the ones that cultivate that life in your body and bring it forth.
But what do you say about this toxic masculinity now that's bred so deep and sick and unhealed relation? And you know what I'm saying.
Well,
Somebody
there's-
hurt these men.
Let's
There's-
go. No, let's
there's
go
some
back
truth
way
with it,
back.
though.
Huh?
Let's
There's
go
some
way
truth with
back.
it, but I don't agree with all of it.
Yes.
But let's go way back to where the toxic masculinity
Come from.
began.
Mhm.
The church.
Church.
Oh, no, we not.
The
Mhm.
church.
I was trying to leave the church out of this.
Now, who are the most religious people on this planet?
Women.
Women. Who are the most divine and most connected to the Most High? Whatever
Spiritually?
divinity,
Women.
spiritually, women.
Women.
Okay, women are the root and the foundation of the church in any religion we have out there, even though you get pushed aside because men figured out, ooh, this is power.
Logic. They applied the logic and took away the empathy.
That's the problem. And not only that, but they also brought about the
Ego.
advent of control.
Ego.
It's all about control. You know, you got to, if
Power
you don't do
and
this,
control.
you know, that I don't remember reading
Then what do you
hell
say?
in the Bible.
Then what?
I don't remember reading about hell in the Bible. We ain't going there. We talking about the movie. But the thing is that the changes have been made and has been reinforced generation to generation to generation to generation. The only caveat that we as American blacks have is that the strong man was destroyed as an example when we were in bondage.
So the martyr.
Mm-hmm.
So you have all these martyred experiences, and much like I said, I know I'm not the popular opinion when it comes to the woman doing and being end all be all things, because I just don't. I'm a divine being, and I understand God created man and woman, and I just can't co-sign to a one side or the other side.
Okay.
Does that make sense what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
So with that, just whether you're doing Abrahamic law of any series of Abrahamic law, Quran, Torah, Bible, whatever it is you do, there's these roles, places, spaces, power and control aspects with men infamously leading these patriarchal systems defined in religion to use women as commodities and tools rather than the essence of life that they bring.
Well, I'll give you an example. Do you know historically the bloodline of children was measured through the mother?
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't measured through the father. You know, and it goes back to the old saying, mama's baby, papa's maybe. Papa could have been anybody.
Well, this one was a Rolling Stone.
No, but you know what?
With a hat.
But you know what? I will say this
And a
about
feather.
that, because we're talking about
I'm sorry,
the
Rick.
divine. No, you okay. Divine feminine from that point. Here's my thing. We have the Eve gene, okay, the woman. Also,
We going here today?
well, yeah, I was a theology major.
Oh,
too.
you know, I was like,
So with
Rocco,
that-
they
but-
don't know the other side
but
of you. They
that's
just
what I'm
know
saying.
about the pimp you just talked
But-
about. But he's a redeemed man for a reason. He became a pastor after all that pimping. And then
No, I was a pastor before I was pimping.
Lord,
That's why I tell you religion is bullcrap. But anyway, I'll go from there to say this. No, you didn't hear what I
He
said.
said
Religion.
I know
I didn't say spirituality and truth.
that's
I
true.
said religion. Because I'm
when
when I pastored, is because I saw my pastors' material gain and their feminine conquest. I want to be like pastor.
oh, so it
Listen,
turned
here-
you on.
Listen to me now. I've been through that, all that. But what I'm saying later on in life, what I started learning about women, I don't care what spiritual belief that you come from, doesn't matter. There was always a feminine aspect of the creator. Who said that the creator or the most high or God or Allah, whatever you want to call it, who said that there was
I
a man?
dare you to say that.
Because
Yes.
every scripture does not say
It's
that the
an
most high is a
entity.
man.
It's an entity. It's,
It's-
not a
okay,
man or a
right.
woman.
We're men and women.
He's creator.
So, but there has to be divine feminine. So I
It's
don't care
got
if you're
to be.
Christian, when you were talking about the spirit descending as a dove, that's the feminine aspect,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if you talked about whom y'all call Jesus, the Messiah, but he had women that had to be there to cater to him, to get him ready for what was getting ready to happen and beyond. Hold on.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care if you're talking about the Prophet Muhammad, what have you, he still had Khadijah. But what I'm trying to say,
Listen to all of
when
this.
men get to the point where they realize that the divine feminine is where we come from, as well as where we plant our seed. The closest thing, I know my mother loves me and she's deceased, but she ain't never came back and told me what heaven was like or what's like in the grave.
Mm-hmm.
But guess what? The closest thing I can think about heaven is probably when I'm laying with a woman.
Oh, Lord
No,
Jesus,
no.
that's a good one.
But see, if you're not strong mentally, you can't
You
accept
see, you
that as a
teaching
man.
these young men up in here, right?
By the way, I'm Rocco, ladies. But no, I'm saying that to say, what is better than that?
No, you're right.
I've been married 4 times. You know, I didn't work. It was me.
Lord Jesus.
No. It was me.
No, I need you to
Because I was
understand
under that
that.
patriarchal mindset.
Mm.
Okay, I was the kind of guy that if you were married and you happened to go to the store today and I just happened, you made the Sunday dinner and I wanted to go eat on the fine crystal at the dinner table and you came back and fussed at me and said, that's my good china for guests. I'm breaking every dish in the house because I'm the man in this house. I should be able to eat anywhere I want anytime.
Rocco.
But the way I did it was wrong. I didn't have to break the dishes. I could have explained, because if I was really the man of my house.
Let me go into this.
Okay.
Hold on. This is a behavior, and that's a trauma response.
Yes, it is.
So she told you couldn't have your way and do what you wanted to do, and you got upset.
And rebelled.
No. What she did, Reverend Chicken Wing could come eat on them plates on the good day.
Ah, there's a
But
depth to this.
I bought those plates. So why is it a problem when I go in there and want to eat on the fine china in the fine dining room? It's my castle.
Because you didn't
But if I was
define the
properly
boundaries
leading as a man
and set boundaries
I didn't even
appropriately.
have to set the boundaries. If I had been properly leading my spouse, my family as a man, it would have never been an issue because my mom would know, hey, you know what? My man likes to eat on this fine china.
You out of alignment already if she told you that.
You get my point.
My
So
point
I'm not
is-
blaming her.
No, it's not her fault
It was
because
me.
it's a you thing. And so I'm going to take it back to the choice. You knew she wasn't for you when you got with her because she made you feel like heaven
Well,
and she put it on you.
well,
Heaven is
No,
a different
it's a
thing.
He
different
said
thing,
laying
no,
with her. He married her.
No. He said laying with her.
It's
is
the
the
closest.
It's the closest thing of what I can realize what the
Heaven on
concept
earth.
of what
Pay
heaven
attention.
is on earth.
But think about this. if someone makes you feel that way to a point where you want to marry them.
Mhm.
Because again, we're talking about.
Well, you're talking as a 21-year-old Rocco. Now,
Oh,
as a
this is
63-year-old Rocco,
21-year-old Rocco.
This
No,
is
this
63-year-old Rocco. Look,
Oh, that new
I done
way.
had-
Yo, Lord.
You talking old head.
I'm going old head
We
now.
talking OG
Look,
now.
look,
We have
seriously, as a man that had a past, a deviant past, a man of leisure at one particular time in my life,
Loose booty pass.
I will say I've had them all, Jews, Jews, Hebrews, and Hindus. It don't matter. But what I will come forward today to say
This
is that,
podcast.
Can't take him
no,
place.
what I will say today is the fact that even though I was walking in my negativity, I learned lessons from all that. So today, that's why I'm single today, because now it would take a divine feminine woman for me to even consider marrying a woman. And I don't just lay down with anybody.
You bet not.
No, I don't.
You know I'm gonna call you.
It's okay.
You and look on Facebook. Who is
Okay.
this?
But you know, Christine, I'm gonna just be honest with you. There are certain women, you included, when I say this, don't take this wrong, but hear me out. This is a compliment.
Oh,
I can count on this hand how many women, you're included in this count, who I've actually been turned on by your divine femininity since I've met you.
and when he defines that, and I'm gonna let Gary define what that means, because
ahead,
Gary's
Gary.
gonna say the same thing.
Go ahead.
There's a aura.
Right.
Okay. All women don't have that aura.
No.
Okay. Very few. You know, that's why I finally found mine. And it took me 3 tries.
3 tries.
Okay. And what you end up doing, it has nothing to do, it's a turn on that has nothing to do with the physicality.
Right.
Okay, you expressed this to me. So first of all,
Mhm.
time out. I know we're gonna get into something serious. So Gary says, "Girl, you can't have just one man."
Right. Some women are like that.
And I was like, "What do you mean, Gary? I can too." He's like, "No. You're not that type of woman."
Right.
I was like, "What does that mean?" I can't define that because my partner is a man. I don't know what it is. You understand? See, women try to define this part. Then no. Be quiet. Let them tell you what it is, because then you're just projecting. You got to be quiet and hear what it is that for a man to, in order for me, the first thing in my partnership is, what do you like? What do you want? How do you want that to look? What are your boundaries? I don't know dating apps because I'm not available for a reason. Most divine feminine are not. We don't need to look. The universe supplies all of our needs. So we are not in lack. I'm not lacking. Therefore, a man that feels he can project his glory upon me can't satisfy me because I'm not lacking. So if you satisfy me, you have to satisfy me on a divine tip of where it's complementary and added value to where I'm going.
To that aura again.
I don't want anything from you. So it's like, let me take you out. Let me take you out. What you want?
So would you say, like, I've had a woman ask me for money?
Wait a minute.
Hold on, listen to me. This is a lesson on this one. She's asked me for money, and I said no. She called me broke. I said, no, I'm not broke. You don't financially turn me on. So with that,
oh my God.
but guess what? A woman with that divine feminine or that aura can financially turn me on.
You said
get
you
what I'm
don't
saying?
financially turn me on. Gee,
I ain't
where
broke.
you get that
You
from?
just got to be, because I was well, that's just wisdom.
His background.
That's the Dolomite background.
Wait, dynamite.
What they got an ism?
Wait a minute. Time. We can't speak past this one.
Right.
You said you don't financially turn me on.
Turn me on.
Now, this is something that through the growth, and Gary will tell you, it's been a journey for me to kind of understand this portion, especially starting over in your 40s and whatnot. It's a trip. And so I decided to do the self-discovery thing. And Gary's like, you're not going to have a problem. I'm like, I don't want anybody taking me out and doing these things. I don't want that. This environment keeps breeding. I don't need a transaction. I take myself out and I have the best time. It's a matter of fact, can we just meet and have this conversation? And even I raised my son this way. It's like, take her to coffee, take her to the park. And then I find out I've been advising my son to do broke stuff. Like, They call you broke because you asked them to coffee
Because I said no.
and
to
you
their
don't
financial
pay.
request.
What does that mean?
But any man in this room who's ever had a woman that he loved because he cared about her, he loved her, if your woman asked you, didn't mind giving it to her. Because
No, she don't. First of all, you already supplied it if you a real one.
No, Gary's a married man. I'm not a married guy, but there's times I know that his wife, I've seen it, can ask him and he's not even gonna say anything about it.
No, he's not,
do
because he's already aligned. That is,
exactly.
and even more so when you are really aligned, she ain't gonna have to ask you.
Well,
You've already got
you
it.
talked about the toxic men thing that's going on.
Yeah, no, I don't
But
want
I
you to
think it
think
goes
I'm a
both
transaction.
sides.
It
It
is
does.
It
both
goes
sides.
both
I
ways.
don't want anything from
Because
you.
there are a few women, like
So-
I said, that could ask me. That five that I know, they don't have to ask me. I would do it because I keep trying to say, and only way I can see it is women are better pimps than men. If she's a real woman,
Power of the people.
that goes back to that again.
But I
Your
think it's
femininity
true.
can calm me down. It can make me get up and do even more than what I'm already capable
That's
of doing.
what frightens.
That's what
men.
frightens me.
Well, one thing I have seen, because I didn't know until I went through this tuition that I paid in full for this story, this life story adventure. I Gary's like, girl, do you not know your power? And I'm like, no. And of course, when you have a bunch of women telling you just that side, you don't hear. If you separate yourself, you can't hear the fullness that you need to know. If you are interested in science, do you talk to an English teacher or a science teacher?
Exactly.
I'm not going to talk to the English teacher if I'm trying to learn about science. If I'm trying to learn about a man, I don't need to be talking to a woman.
And it
I
don't
need
matter
to-
what kind of man you talk to.
I just needed to understand with my behaviors, put my behaviors on the table and say, is this right, wrong, or indifferent? No, Chris, that's not cool. No, Chris, because you know why? This society doesn't teach women what a man is and isn't.
Mhm.
Does that make sense?
No, it's
Absolutely.
projected what they think.
It's projected. You got single parent households that's one-sided, one way or another, and they project in this way to, no, this is what women are like. No, that's what your women you've chosen like. You can, oh, wait, have you had a woman, or is that just rhetoric you've heard repeated?
And it's the same thing when we were talking about the toxic femininity, where you have the old saying of the hand that rocks the cradle rules the world. If that woman tells that daughter the wrong way to think,
Exactly.
Oh, I was
She
a
is the-
toxic female because my mom is the woman that's like, no, you don't need nothing from no man. You're going to do everything. Let me tell you how that's been the journey.
Or you have to be bought.
Or you have to be bought, or he has to pay for everything to show you that he loves you.
So you can go to the Cheesecake Factory?
I go on my own lunch
See
break.
what I'm saying? No,
What?
I did that.
Do you want to?
No.
No.
But see,
You want to go to the Cheesecake Factory?
where you want to go?
Oh,
See,
you did
That's what I'm
go.
talking about.
But
That's
see,
what
the
I'm
thing
saying,
is,
though.
What's wrong with the Cheesecake Factory?
You have stuff. Once again, some of the poison that comes up on the phone.
Y'all are doing
Where
some.
they're-
Y'all are looking at some memes because it's a Cheesecake Factory thing.
Yeah,
okay.
exactly.
Oh,
He ain't gonna take me no Cheesecake Factory.
That's
But
why I
she's
go
a woman
for
I-
what?
She's a woman I did.
Why?
give
Because
her
it what
femininity. We can go wherever she wants to go.
I
And
have.
can pretty much pick and tell where you would like to go.
I have had meals that I have shared that can cost upward of a couple G's to have meals that cost $2 because it was just French fries from McDonald's and it was really yummy. And it was probably one of the greatest, connected experiences because I was having the time of my life. Even though it's genetically modified potatoes,
Okay.
I had the time of my life. And it was just, I really loved that
And they're
experience.
good.
Or was it about who you were with?
It's about the moment. It's the way it's always supposed to be about. It's about, okay, I said I want to
got you.
take you on a date. Why? First of all, what's your intention? Why do you want to take me on a date? Oh, it's your aura. What about it? I turn people on all kinds of different ways. What turns you on? Like, no, I'm being serious.
Yeah.
Is it sexual? Is it mentally? Is it socially? Do you want to network? What do you want from me? I need to be very clear.
Well, maybe if I've seen it
First.
all, I want it all.
Well, see,
Rocco?
with you. I'm just saying. No, I'm just
Oh,
saying.
well,
in general. I ain't talking about you.
I was like, Rocco.
well, see, the thing is, when you come to a realization,
I need a talk show. Swear to God.
when you establish boundaries.
Oh
said
God,
that.
I
Okay.
sucked
You said
at
that
those.
earlier.
I'm
You
a
said that.
horrible
You know.
girlfriend, bro.
But see, the thing is, okay, I'll give you an example, and I'll
didn't
use
know.
this, and I'll put this on blast. When we first met,
Oh shit.
I noticed the aura
Mhm.
Oh, this is a good thing. I was like, oh
of
shit.
you, but it wasn't sexual.
Mm-mm.
Okay, and I'm like, okay, this is someone I should know.
Right. I get it.
Okay, it didn't.
What
have
was it for you?
Okay, was it cute? Is she cute? Yes. Does she have this thing? Yes. That's not what I need from you.
Exactly.
Okay, I don't
Mhm.
need the primal from you.
No, you don't.
The thing is that the beauty of our relationship is the give and take of ideas.
Mhm.
Well, first of all,
I get it.
I get it because I'm a sapiosexual. So
Yeah, you like the mental. I
Mm.
get it.
it's also a bad thing because
Yeah, that ism could get you. Am I right?
it's
Yep.
true.
Some people don't fit in.
When I first met you, I hadn't dated a woman in 3 years.
Oh my God.
And that was purposefully though. But when I met you the first time, you hadn't known me from Adam, but when you were introduced to me, you embraced me. But you embraced me almost like I was your man. And that was like, well, wait a minute, hold on. What girl trying to do? I had to go through all the processing in my head. Then I said, okay, this is just who she is. But at the same time, remember, I was hurting in my back.
And I
And you
said,
felt me and told me, before I even told you what was wrong with my physical, you told me what was wrong with me.
I use my gift when I
Now,
hug you.
After she did that, as a man, it did turn me on.
Mm-hmm.
I started thinking in my head, should I try to pursue this thing or what?
I just use my
Because
gift.
she did that.
Mm-hmm.
Then after I got to know her, I said, okay, that's not what this is about. This was about networking and doing things. But at the same time, she still tried to nurture and concern about telling me to get off the medications and do this. That's what only a real woman can do.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I said I include her. She might have never even knew that, but I included her. And when I said in that
That's why I got
five,
left, actually.
Yeah,
my last
well,
boyfriend
but
said that.
I've even told Gary in the past, I says, if things be different, I would pursue Christine. Have I not told you that before?
Mm-hmm.
Because it's what you brought.
Mm-hmm.
It has
I'm a
nothing to-
loving
yeah,
person. And so
yeah, and I
people
haven't
get
had
that. And most men have not.
That's
Like,
what
I
I'm
literally,
saying.
my friend was like, you need to charge for them hugs, girl. I
You
was like,
should.
what?
You get paid.
That-
A lot of times,
The coloring firm.
we go
What
back,
the cut?
we go back to what we were talking about, the primal.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, time out. Time out. Hold on that primal. Let me address this real quick. If this is true, because before you say that with your primal, you taught me this, right? Because I know what you're going to say. Just don't forget that.
Mm-hmm.
Gary actually told me, he's like, you know what, Chris? He said, girl, you something special. I'm coming here to turn all these old men on. He said, but it's not what you think.
Right.
And I said, what? He said, no, you give them love and it awakens them. And so fast forward to the primal. Now, a unconscious primal man that is looking to gratify and mate, if you will, that is, they can speak to it. That embrace, that's a gift that even my parents wouldn't let me hug certain people. My ex-husband would tell people, don't let Chris hug you. She's gonna know everything about your life. Don't let her touch you. And it's like, no, to stay away. And like, no, that's my gift. And so I'm like, oh, you got all of this going on. And I'm like, oh.
That's why I stopped calling her.
That's what my client
So,
was.
Reggie, like
That's why I had to call every night.
This is
Call and I wouldn't answer.
bad.
But I'm being honest.
Because, and listen, that's for divine women, because this goes in a relationship. Rocco, let me give it to you this way. These are my brothers. I love them. They know if they call me and they're crying and they're meant or whatever they're facing, they're not worried about me getting in their bed. They're worried about me helping them stitch
Right.
together the heart
Right.
or their issues or their what they utilize me for is more sacred than a physical experience
Exactly.
that a man can ever have with me.
Right.
Now, for me, and this gift that I have, that this love that is shown and given, and this known Chris's hugs and, you know, like her aura, that's a God thing. I'm so blessed to vessel and to say, God tells me, like, that man needs a hug. Go give him a hug.
With them hugs.
Girl, them girls was telling me, like,
buddy services. You heard about that new trend that's going
he's
on?
letting his
People
pimp
that pay to come. No,
protocol.
seriously, that's it.
No, actually,
You would make a lot of money doing that.
I know.
Because only my mother could grab me like that, even as a grown man, to do that. So now imagine someone who's not related to you that does that.
I embrace
all
you.
the bells
Same
and whistles
magic.
went off.
You feel the
It's the
same
same
magic.
magic.
I'm giving you
And
the
more,
love of God.
because she's not my mother. So my mother did it. It calmed me. But when a woman who wasn't my mother did it, it rang all my bells. You know what I'm saying?
And that's what I'm saying. Your
Yeah.
mother's not going to stimulate you that
Right,
way.
that's what
A
I'm saying.
woman outside of that, like, and even that's why I stopped teaching high school, because
You're reaching for your wallet. Why are you doing that?
I was like,
But you might
Put
need
that
some.
back. You need something?
you need some? No. But the reason why I did that is because I realized that let me tell you where it started. The VA hospital.
Oh, okay.
I was a little girl, and my dad would take me to orthopedics. A bunch of y'all was sitting there broke, busted, disgusted,
Right,
angry.
right.
And my dad figured, I'm going to take this little girl, took me from the church. It's like, no, she'll make you feel better. Not that my dad exploited me around men. I'm at the hospital, and I would just sit with him. And I would walk up and I would hug these men that I could see their spirit. I'm telling what was going on back then, just heartbreaking. And I would just hug them as if it was their last hug.
Mm-hmm. And in a few cases, it probably
was.
It was.
Mhm.
And I gave them, and they would look down, and they look at my dad and be like, hey, Clayton, hey, Chuck, you make sure next appointment, you bring this one. Kind of way Moon is now for me. I take Moon to the VA, and how Moon embraces how she makes people feel is the same thing. You know what I'm talking about?
I know exactly.
I think every woman has that gift, but they haven't all nurtured that gift. See,
No.
understand and nurtured that gift.
My
that you
parents kept
provided.
feeding it
Right.
into it,
Right.
but it was fed into by spirituality practices that my family holds true. When I'm glad that my aunts are nowhere near you guys, because they did not age at all, and they look like me. So now that I know. No, we all hug that way.
I'm off the market. I'm sorry.
And look,
Rocco on the market. Hug me.
do I need to have like a dating app over on the VAC side? It's like
You
boop,
don't
boop,
need a
boop,
dating
boop,
app.
boop.
Put his picture on it.
I don't need a date app. I just have to have a woman that can do that. I can't. I've had them all. Trust me.
But let's go
can't
back.
just do
And
that
once
anymore.
again, we're
Primal.
going
Primal.
around the circle.
Primal, what was you saying?
The primal thing is that it's our nature.
Yes.
To mate?
Yes.
You just want to
And
mate
what
all
we
day?
said- pretty much.
Really?
No shit.
Why not?
Oh my.
No, I mean this is.
No, I
what-
thought it was just
this is
certain
men.
people.
No,
I'm
this is-
just
No, if
This
you're
is
her, I
a
want it
man
all.
thing. If you're a straight man, the first thing you
Wait.
do, you look at. Interesting.
if
So don't
it's
they go
her, I
back
want
to
it
this-
all the
So
time.
does it go back when the scripture, when it said after Adam was woke up out of sleep and Eve presented him, right? He said, bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh.
There you
I
go.
like to say he got hard. He had never seen that woman before. When he saw her, what did he do? Bone of my bone, flesh of my
The
flesh.
pressure.
He
The-
woke
It's
up.
primal.
The primal
The
aspect
animals couldn't do it.
of us. The primal aspect
Right.
of human beings, because we keep forgetting that we're animals.
Yes.
Okay, and we have urges to
Homie.
mate,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why you've heard
That's
me
what
say
we're
on
told
more
to
than
do.
one occasion the primal. Now, when you get to be an old beach master like me, or no, like him, I got mine. But as you develop in manhood, and as a woman develops in her womanhood, then you get an understanding of who you are.
Right.
Because what we truly are is not what's between our legs, it's what's
It's here.
between our ears.
I care about this. even this, because this can get warped from environments, right? And when I see you, I don't see, and I'm wrong for this. I try to see you in the eyes of God, because
Why are you wrong?
I'll tell you why, because I'm not God, and I need to judge you appropriately based off of what needs. I ain't God. I had to have that hard tuition. I'm not God. And yes, I can see you as an ethereal, beautiful being, but if you in your uckery, I need to judge accordingly and act accordingly to your primal human experience. I can't keep falling in love with the potentiality and continue to be in disassociation from the reality.
Right.
Perfectly said.
Perfectly said.
Because you can't
It's cognitive dissonance.
fix
Oh,
everybody.
That's a cognitive dissonance.
That's what most churches.
Cognitive dissonance. You
were
say
talking-
you are one thing and you live something else. You say you want these things, but your fruits of your hand don't produce that. And so the relationship, man, woman, has a triple threat of cognitive dissonance. I'll tell you, triple threat. You got to make sure that person is in alignment with living their truth. That person has to be living their truth. Then there has to be a third party of understanding of what you want as a couple.
Between those things together. Exactly.
Now, if you are divided here, you can't be whole here. If I am divided here, you can't be whole here. That's why the ethereal God in the mix of the relationship, holding it together in case you can't, I can never be 100% at all times and give you, like I said, I can never give you 100%. What the hell did I leave me?
But see, I'm gonna even go deeper with that. Like I said, that aura that you bring, you don't have to be 100% all the time.
No, I could
No,
give you
no,
10%
no.
and feed you.
Well, no. Well, here's the thing. And a lot of women can learn from this. I'm telling you, if you're her, you don't have to worry about what you're bringing to the table.
No,
If you're her,
I don't worry about that.
I have, and I'm not bragging. I've had women in the last 30 days that I have turned down relationships. They're sweet. They would probably be some real nice women, but they ain't her. I need a her. You get what I'm saying? I've gotten past the point of collecting in the stable.
So you body count.
No.
No, that's what that means. It's
I'm
like you're
now at the
collecting
point
bodies.
in my life, like I was telling Gary the other day, I'm at the point now at 63. I want a life partner, spouse, wife, or whatever you call it.
Why'd you wait?
Because I had to get right first before I could
wasn't
be
ready.
right.
So let's pause for a moment.
Mm-hmm.
I saw this clip where this woman was like, I don't want you if you owe, why you, well, first of all, Gary is one that, so it's like you ran through all these women and now you want a young woman to appease you in your healed state to take care of you in your older age. Now, this woman is not going, if you choose this young woman, and I ain't got nothing against age differences. I totally don't. I don't. Do you? If you so choose this woman, you've lived your life. A very full one, apparently, with lots of bodies.
Okay. No lie.
What exactly are you asking her to sacrifice, sir?
Interesting. I'll make you really laugh. I have never dated a woman over 40, and I'm 63. Hold on. I got married at 21. That didn't work. But mother of my children, I loved her, but I wasn't ready at 21. So I abused the situation. Now, this is what I'm coming to deal with. When I try to relate with women, I really right now, age is not important to me, but here's what I've been finding out. Most of the women that I know that I've tried dating in my age group, they're still hung up on what guys like me did 30 years ago. They haven't let that go. They have trauma. I get it. I apologize that trauma came in your life because I probably created some trauma in others' lives.
I'm sure you did.
But I freed up myself, like you said, now to me, you can't talk about it until you heal from it.
That's right.
Okay. So now I say this is what I want. But what I have found out, even now with some of the young women, yeah, I know sometimes it's the sugar daddy effect and this, that, and the other. But you know what? Sometimes you don't mind paying. Listen to when I say this as a man, you don't mind having fun, paying for a little fun. Because now I can send you home, be done. I can
Are
tell
we
you take the
having
plan
this,
B
Lord
tomorrow
Jesus?
if I wanted to.
Jesus
But
Christ.
the point I'm making is this. Now I'm ready. I'm even done with that. So now I'm looking for that woman that has that primal aura that we were talking about.
Mhm.
I'd rather that, because that woman right now, where I'm at in life, that's what I need where I'm at in life. And guess what? I can reciprocate back to her that which with my aura I see that she needs. So I can't just be with any woman.
So would you date older now?
If she has that aura,
Okay.
that's like me. Okay, I'm gonna give you. Let's just do this for the sake. As a man, my celebrity crush. You know who my celebrity crush is? Kerry Washington. Always have been. But I'm saying that to say this. I know it's not realistic, but I'm saying some of the roles that she's played, and then some of the real life stuff I've seen, she has that aura too. She really does.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and I'm like, let me see if I can find me somebody like that.
Really?
And every time I find or run into one, they have somebody. But some of them are with the somebodies that don't really respect it.
They don't know
Or
what they
don't
have.
know what they have.
They don't know what
But
they
I'm
have.
not that guy anymore where I'm going to come to try to interrupt that.
Mhm.
You get what I'm saying?
Oh, you're trying to steal
no, that was
somebody.
the time I wouldn't steal, I would took. But what I'm saying,
You down with OPP? Yeah,
you do
you
the
know
part of
me.
life too. It doesn't matter.
No,
But
I
I'm
said
saying-
other people's property.
Well, same thing. But what I'm trying to say now, I rather quality instead of quantity.
Well,
You get what I'm saying?
I agree with you wholeheartedly, because I had to evolve
Yes.
from that thought process, because you know, and when you start looking for specifics, okay, she has to be this, she has to have long hair, she has to have so and so and so and so, she has to have these measurements, blah blah blah.
Oh, this is a thing?
Now, when you evolve to the point that when you were talking about the aura, okay, the aura comes in many different packages.
Different packages. That's right.
Okay, he can.
Your wife has the
verify this.
aura.
Yeah, exactly.
She does.
Exactly. I've met women that were absolutely drop dead gorgeous. It was like talking to that damn podium. Okay.
Empty.
Hellcats.
Empty.
Hellcats.
Hellcats.
That too.
What?
But I'm talking about the emptiness.
Right.
And you know, just
I'm never gonna date again.
What's so saying? All hat and no cattle.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's nothing there. If you can't have a conversation. But the thing is, it took me a while to find her.
Took me a long time.
For what I was looking for in a woman, I was 28 years old. And then I started on my journey trying to find this, but I started categorizing. Oh, she has to look like this. She has to do that, blah, 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 blah. No.
You can pass that now.
Yeah. So
I've never been this I think I'm broken. I think something's broken.
No, you're not broken.
This is just weird to me because
You got
how do I
some things
say
you
this?
Still gotta let go.
Yeah, I'm sure. You know, the shit is real.
Well, what?
I love you. And so, no, the reason I'm saying this, Gary, is there's nothing wrong with what you said, right? But I'm a millennial. So forgive me for this portion, because I think there's an essence of what you're saying is a lesson for me to understand that you need to choose what it is that you are looking for. I'm so, I guess you could say, I've dated the United Nations. It's a plethora
Yeah, I get it.
of I don't mean it. That sounds so bad.
No, I get it.
So damn.
It's
It's a plethora.
like saying a trough back home.
Plethora of all these souls, right?
Right.
That I've experienced. It's not sexual. All these, it's not. All these souls that I've experienced that don't come in this criteria, if you will, because there's no criteria with me. I have to see your intelligence, your spirit. That's what, all that doesn't mean anything to me, because what I've seen with individuals that I have loved as a friend, as a partner, as a spouse or whatever, the essence of me is going to shift you already. I ain't worried about what you start out with. I know how I'm going to leave you.
There you go.
Now that's
There
now
you go.
that's knowing the power of the
V.
okay.
I'm not worried about how you start out. I just
and
need to
the-
know what's
and the
in you.
thing
But I'm
is-
not stuck on the potentiality. I need to be very clear
But you
on that.
also have to still have an agenda.
I
Okay,
suck at this.
Everybody.
I don't want shit.
No.
Ain't what he's saying.
No. It has nothing about wanting. It's about needing.
Needing. What do you need?
Not
What
a
do you
damn
need?
thing.
No, you
Yes,
do.
you do.
Oh, I
Okay,
need a
now
penis?
listen.
No,
No,
that ain't what we said.
that
Oh.
ain't what I'm
I'm
talking
like,
about.
what do I need? What is
No.
outside of me that I need?
What does
Okay.
she need from a man?
Remember when
I'm learning.
Remember
What
when
do I need?
Remember when I described to you about the list?
Ah.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
There's if you can come up with 10 particular things that you need, want, and desire. Needs first, wants second, desires third of that list, in that list of 10. You look for that.
I think
Now,
that's where
we
I'm
all-
broken.
Well,
Can
see,
you
the-
give an example?
Okay.
I don't want or need anything from a
Yeah,
soul.
you do. I know what kind of man
Yeah,
you
but
need.
you
God
do.
dang it, Rocco. You're a pimp. Of course you think so.
You need a man
But
that
what
wants
you
to let you
need,
have your desire.
understand.
But I don't have any desires.
Yes, you
Yes,
do.
you do.
What
The
I
thing
serve all
is-
day.
Okay. Let me
What I'm
explain
so
something.
confused. This
No,
is a whole
you're not
moment.
That's a desire.
No, your thing is this. You love your primal,
Mhm.
I sure do.
but you also need freedom.
Mhm.
You also need intellectualism.
Mhm.
Okay. You also need someone that's going to tolerate
Mhm.
you, but also know how to check you.
Mhm. Give you Bronco
Correction.
That's what you need.
I will not be with someone that tolerates me. I will only go where
No,
I am
No,
celebrated.
no,
not
no,
the
no,
way
no.
he's
That's
saying.
that's not what I'm talking about. No,
What-
you
what's
don't need
tolerate me?
celebration.
What's-
You don't need celebration.
What's
You need-
toleration?
Toleration is
Allowing you to be
being
you.
comfortable enough to just do what you got to do,
Do what you
baby.
do, baby.
And I'll see you when you get
See you
Well,
back.
then
You're
that's not toleration.
That is.
Why
is
is that
toleration.
toleration? Please help
It
us women.
goes back-
What does that
It goes
mean?
back to
You
a man's
tolerate that?
desire. It goes back to a man's desire
Mhm.
to protect and control.
Right. And you don't need a guy that wants to control. That's
Okay.
It's not going to fit your order.
If he has to control you, but he has to be strong enough to say, "I'm not doing that,"
Mhm.
because you're not gonna accept the punk either.
Right.
No, I'll eat
Okay.
him.
Point. That's
Exactly.
what we're saying.
That's the point. So that's where toleration comes in. That's the word. In this several. How many different definitions are there to toleration?
Oh,
Okay.
3, yeah.
God,
All
baby,
right.
do you? I'll see you when you get back. And you be
All
like,
right.
well, you ain't going? I said, I wasn't. I'll see you when
I
you get
got
back.
this. I got to do
I
over
gotta
here,
do
and
over
I'll
here.
see you when we get back.
So that's
this evening.
individualism within the relationship of a secure person that understands the person they've chosen. It's already
Absolutely.
a trust aspect that's given. You're not going to have a trauma
Right.
response
So
or
now-
overreaction. Where you
So
going,
now you gotta
girl?
have- Now
But
you
when I
gotta
come- when you
have
come
that
back-
list.
when you come back, you're going to want that, though.
Exactly. So now,
Am I?
when the doors close and the lights are low, and the
What you
candle
mean
is
I want
lit,
that? Hold on. What you mean I
Listen,
want that?
listen.
Oh, listen what he's saying. He's saying he clearing it right.
when you when you turn the lights down low and put the music on and blah
Mhm.
blah blah, and you're taking a shower and you smell, both of y'all smelling like Harlem sissies, and you're doing all this, and you want the primal,
The bunker buster.
okay? Oh Lord.
I can't.
But you know
No, that's
where we're
what you
going.
mean. Yeah.
You know where we're
Yeah.
going here.
Yeah.
Or I want you to know where we're going here.
You're telling
This
me,
is
yes.
and you talk about, you like one of the terms that you love.
Primal, a wild woman. If you know me personally, I have
No.
most women have a nature that is divine, have a nature about them. They're very
Right.
multifaceted, as you
Right.
know. That's a divine being,
Yeah.
right? They are not going to be confined to one person ever,
And that's fine.
right? And that man that is chosen to be with that partnership has to understand what that means.
See, I could deal with that. Well, a lot of men couldn't deal with that.
Well, I didn't know that until I started dating, and I didn't know that was a problem.
Well, see,
I didn't know until I had an elder, which, you know, shout out Umi, I love you. Umi, you know, was like, no, Chris, it's how you're hugging. You give love. And a man that wants you for you and only to himself, he misinterprets it. But this is a 63-year-old that took the hug and was like, oh, shit, no, I don't want to just try to tap that. There's something else. Whereas
Right.
a young man, primal,
exact or no,
will
not-
misinterpret
don't say
it.
Young,
You're right.
No.
Immature man
Exactly.
that's not conscious
Mhm.
will only see that there was an experience of exchange with physicality, primal
Mhm.
experience. No, yes, you're exactly right. I am sharing my energy
Right.
with these people. Yes, I am.
Mhm.
And if you are a very protective type of man,
It's not gonna work.
that's not going to work. Don't try it. Please don't even come to me if you need that type of woman. You need her in the kitchen, in the bed,
Well, no,
and
hold on.
that's I'm not
Hold
that
on,
chick.
when I
But
say
once
this,
again,
go ahead.
go
When
ahead.
I say this, don't think I'm campaigning for myself.
Shit.
But what I'm saying, no,
Gary,
seriously,
shit.
seriously, the kind of guy that I am, I could deal with that. I can deal with you hugging 20 men a day.
Well, my
That
ex
don't
could
bother
too
me.
because it didn't bother him. That's
But-
not his problem.
But that's where I'm at in life
Because
now.
he was mature enough to know
Right.
that you were coming home.
I was
And being a
Okay.
former man of leisure, I can deal
Everybody
with that.
doesn't know how.
well,
you get what I'm
I
saying?
had a very yes, I get that now. I
Mhm.
didn't then. I argued it for a while. But when you're having this conversation with individuals that aren't healed enough to take accountability and the responsibility, it's my responsibility to know that if I've gotten engaged in a relationship that's out of alignment, why am I with a man that's controlling? Let me start with that. When I know I'm a wild, free unicorn in the mist.
Because you got caught up on only one line of your list.
Mhm.
Okay?
Oh, so
The list has to be adhered to. If they don't meet the criteria of 7 out of 10, that ain't it.
I've been single for a long time, Gary.
You might only need just 4.
Shit, I mean, at this
Shoot
point,
for 7.
Shoot for 7.
Because
Yeah,
nobody,
can I do 8?
7 out of 10.
80%.
7 out of
80%.
10.
It's too close to failing.
Trust me,
70s.
7 out of 10.
It's too close to failing for me.
70s is still passing.
It's too close to failing, Gary.
that man in your head,
I don't
it
have a
doesn't
man.
exist. He
It doesn't exist. I don't
It
have a
is.
man in my
So-
head. That's why everybody's like,
but-
you're quote unquote goat, that man. I say I don't have a fantasy.
But
I don't
maybe
have
when
that.
guy comes to you that you feel the way I said I felt when you hugged me.
Oh,
Maybe you haven't ran into that yet.
no, I haven't ran into me.
That's what I'm. Well,
I've
maybe
never-
You might not need it. You would make balance. You need. It's the yin and yang principle. What you may need.
That's an
You
accountant.
don't need a you. No, she doesn't need another her.
The opposite of me would be an accountant.
It would be like negative
Aquarius,
and negative,
right?
positive. No,
Uh-huh.
she's an Aries.
I'm a full Aries,
Oh, there you
Gemini.
go. Nah,
I'm Aries,
okay.
Aries, Gemini.
But the thing
Look
is, look at it like the duality.
Duality, yeah.
You got the duality in your chart. You're stubborn, you're fiery, you're a
Jesus.
leader.
I know.
That's who you are.
And it's not a bad thing.
Now,
Mm-mm.
there's nothing wrong with that. But you have to establish the list of what the criteria
Criteria.
will be.
Yeah.
you have to make a decision and stick with it.
I'll tell you.
Short,
I'll
handsome,
tell you.
rich, spiritual.
Mhm.
What you got to make your list.
Exactly.
Again, I think I've broken myself with all of the United Nations. There's so many great qualities and
No,
all.
it's not. No, that's
it's
not
not.
So many
breaking.
great
That's
qualities.
experience.
So many great qualities. Like I know women are like, oh, he's got to be 6 foot and this and boop 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 boop. And I'm like, well, shit. If I was AI, you know, it would be a carbon copy that'd be easy. But
that's the
I've
point.
met that man with that
But
criteria.
that's the point. See, everybody is looking for the same man.
I ain't looking for that.
No,
I ain't looking for
hear
him.
Me. Hear me. Everybody is looking for the same criteria. Okay.
What criteria?
Height, weight, intelligence, handsome, wavy hair.
It's not everybody.
You know.
That's not me.
Muscles.
That's
not
not
too
me.
much muscle, but not looking like got sand kicked in his face either. All
Do you
these
want a
different
man?
things. You
That's
know.
a good question.
See, there you go.
What's that?
Do
That's
I
an issue
want a
with
man? I had a man tell me I need a woman because I'm too masculine.
Well, once again, now what did I tell you about the different people you need in your life?
Yes.
Okay, everybody has, you have categories that you need. You have categories that you need to be satisfied and fulfilled.
Fulfilled, yep.
Everybody is not. That's where the list came into play. Okay. Now you're talking about 70 is close to failing out of 7 out of 10.
Yeah.
7 out of 10 is close to also qualifying. Okay. Now maybe you might need somebody to fill the other 3. Okay.
Then I'm not
fine.
poly.
But the thing is,
I don't want a side piece.
Why
that
not?
you've been.
I've been.
You've been poly.
I have been poly. Why do you guys keep calling me poly?
If I got a baby mama and I got a woman.
Why is everybody calling me poly? Wait, not on my podcast. Wait.
No, a lot of women,
Not on the
a
podcast.
lot
What?
of women living poly lives don't realize they're poly.
Oh God.
Have you
Okay,
ever-
God.
Have you ever dated more than one man at the same time?
No.
Okay.
But then I was told, because I love the way that I do, I'm in multiple relationships because I spend so
But
much
that's
quality
power.
time with
Okay.
men and women.
All right.
And I'm
Now,
not giving them the goods, but
what
I'm
did
giving
you
them
just say
Jesus Christ.
multiple relationships.
I have multiple relationships.
Now, every relationship isn't physical
Right.
No.
or primal.
No.
But it's still a relationship.
That's one person.
But it's still a relationship.
And poly is not all poly, it's sexual.
Exactly.
I've had 2 women. No, listen to me seriously.
It makes me uncomfortable.
I had one woman
I
who
don't
was
know
my
why.
actual woman that I was sexual with.
Is this the pimp
And
years?
no.
Oh.
And then I've had another woman who me and the woman who I was having a relationship with say, hey, you know what? We need another partner. So while we're traveling doing business, we got somebody here that can watch the kids or do this, that, and the other.
I do that all the time. Is that poly?
That's poly.
What the hell?
Hear what I'm saying? It doesn't all.
Avrion, I'm so sorry. I didn't know.
Yeah.
No, we were having this conversation about really, not that me and Avrion are in a poly
See, the
relationship,
world's
but
concept- the world's
what I'm
concept
trying to
of
say,
poly
we were
is
trying to
sexual.
define these things
But
by
that's
this
not
new
true.
generation and what these
Everything
things are
isn't
defined as. But
defined.
bro, we'll talk about this after.
Right.
For sure, this is deep. This is a deep experience because young men and women are not understanding
Right.
this
They think
portion.
everything's sexual.
Well, see, the thing is that
Well,
we have been inundated,
Mhm.
or the
I'm
later
feeling some kind of
generations
way.
have been inundated with sex.
Right.
Is the catch-all, end-all.
I don't care
it's
about
not.
that.
We're not talking about just you. We're
They
talking
do.
about when you mention young people. You're talking about the later generations. We're talking ones after the millennials.
Mhm.
These kids don't get it because they think that, and we thought the same way, only a little more mild.
Yeah, we're mild.
That I can't wait to get grown.
Mhm.
That was one of them things. I can't wait to get grown because I can do whatever I want to do. Shit still hasn't happened.
That's right.
Okay, where I can do what I want to do. Okay.
It ain't never happened.
I can stay between the guardrails.
Mhm.
I can do most of the things I need to do and some of the things I want to do.
So this conversation about
Shame mine, it's my turn.
what?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
No, there's truth to that.
What?
Okay.
Say that again.
Go ahead, tell her.
She's not mine. It's my
My turn.
turn.
Who the hell says that?
Men,
Men.
if they got some sense.
Wait a minute, sir.
Who chooses? Who chooses?
The woman.
Thank you. It's her. It's your turn.
Mm.
I have a lady friend right now that I used to be engaged to. We broke up. She's moved on to another relationship, right? But when she have issues over there with that gentleman is not providing or doing, she calls me because she remembers how I would do. But our
Is
relationship,
that cheating?
hold on. Our relationship was at a point at one time that regardless that we're not together anymore, if she calls me and needs me, I'm there. Now, if I'm in a relationship of another committed relationship, there's only so much that I'm going to do.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, since I'm single, I can do what she requests of me. And she has it like that with me because the way we connected.
I will
You
let
get what I'm
me
saying?
yes. And so for me,
Is it cheating? Well, is it?
well
By whose standards?
by whose standards? But for me, that relationship has to have those boundaries. If my man is like, yo, I don't mind you having these friendships. I don't mind you having your people that you talk to, but what you're not going to do is get physical with that person.
Okay, that's
Now,
the
what
boundaries that
there's
we
a
set.
boundary that
Okay.
gets set. Now, what does physical mean? Does that include hugs? Does that include
No. Hugs don't count.
well, my hugs do
So,
apparently.
No. When
Turning
you-
people
when-
on financially. I
when
mean,
you
I don't
swap
know.
bodily fluids.
Oh,
Then that's
swapping
fine.
bodily fluids is the
Yeah,
definition for you?
Tongue kissing and beyond.
Tongue kissing and beyond.
That's physical.
That's physical.
Is this old school definition?
No, this is real.
This is real, but there's just a lot of youngsters that ain't accepted that. A lot of women, I tell them, I have to be calm because we're on camera. I've dated a woman that had 4 children by 4 different men. You know what I should tell her? You mismanaged your coochie.
Yep.
Because
Management.
you mismanaged. Because guess what? You wasn't even receiving a dime in support from none of them. So you mismanaged.
I hear that
But
often
now
from
you
other
with
women.
Me, right? The older, mature guy now. Okay, you were fine. I said, okay, let's give it a try. Now, those children aren't mine, but at the same time, I knew they belonged to her. So you know what? I took them like they were mine. There was no issue. Some people say, "Oh, that's simping." No, it's not.
What's simping?
That's a whole nother story.
Can somebody define simping for me?
That's like
Being a beach?
No.
Being a punk?
A wimp.
a win.
Desperate.
No,
Desperate.
That's kind of like a man who's being used by women for financial, and he just does it because
That's a
he gets to
punk
be in her
bitch.
presence.
That's a punk
Okay.
bitch.
Okay, but what I'm trying to say, as a man,
So you're using a woman?
no.
That's what a simp is?
No, a simp is a man who allows a woman to manipulate him financially, and he's okay with it just so he can be with her.
Oh,
Because other than that, he couldn't get her.
well, that sounds like some emotional trauma.
But yeah, they're from
Well,
a
see,
psychological
a whole
point
bunch
of
of
view.
stuff.
Oh, poor guy.
A whole
Damn.
bunch of stuff.
I feel bad for the poor
But you have
simps.
to-
Oh, why are we beating up on the simps? He already got issues.
No, but you got to
Sit
remember,
simp.
we
Oh,
are still the sum total of the way we were raised. and our traumas and our experiences.
and our triumphs and all of our greatness. It's all a part of it.
These things rolled into one. Okay. Some people are affected more by the negative than the positive.
Right.
I used to be
Those-
that person.
Mm-hmm.
I used to
but
be that
you had-
person.
But what did you do?
I evolved. It took a lot of work, but all I could see was the negatives, and I get that. But I guess the simp man. Now, no,
Because you're using him financially, and he's so happy that
who does that?
A lot of women do it.
No, I ain't talking about the women. I know what they're doing. I'm talking about the men.
There's a lot of guys that
A lot of
are doing
men
that.
do it.
Oh, so they're getting vagina for it?
That too.
Oh, that's
Well, then that's process.
That's part of their job.
That's a transaction. So they're playing. No.
No. But the
No. So they don't know.
No, the psychological aspect of it.
What
That
the hell
guy
am I
wants to
getting
be
into?
with you so bad. He's willing to let you manipulate him so he can just say, "I'm with you."
And he knows.
And he knows. He know what he's doing. He know you don't really
That's
want
the
it.
sugar daddy thing.
No, sugar daddy's even better. That's more of a splendor daddy.
Splendid daddy.
Look, these times.
No, it's not even real sugar.
Saccharine daddy.
It's
See,
a
I ain't gonna be
it's not
sugar
even a
daddy
real
when that-
sugar.
But I'm not gonna be a sugar daddy if I can have no sugar in my coffee.
Look at the
I'm
man.
gonna come for my sugar.
Look at the old cat that married us. What was the chick that was?
Anna Nicole.
Anna Nicole Smith.
Leave Anna.
He knew.
Leave my girl
He knew.
alone.
not knocking
No,
her.
we ain't talking about her. We talking about him.
Howard Marshall.
Yeah,
Oh,
he was so rich. He had one foot in the grave, and the other on the roller skate.
Rich guys don't
And
mind
he
being sugar
knew,
daddies.
and he was rich as more money. He couldn't take it with him.
Right.
So he said, "Well, I'm gonna go out just the way I want to go out. I'm gonna have this beautiful woman that I can afford."
Every man at one point in his life, especially he's over the age of
something's
40.
wrong with me. I don't feel like I'm going
No,
with the
no.
norm. I think
know
maybe
what?
I should be transactional. Maybe I need to reconsider this list,
Sometimes you might
utilize
have to be.
more of my
But
strengths and
first
get
of
in the
all, but
game.
wait a minute,
Like
just-
maybe I can do. How much do you think I could get for them hugs?
maybe
No.
you need to establish a list.
You're
There
right.
you go.
Remember, you said you don't have one.
I do not.
Right.
I don't. I
Yeah.
didn't want a man.
Everybody has to have a criteria.
But you want something of a man.
Oh, I want a man.
Make that list.
Make the damn list.
What do you want that man to do?
Ooh.
What do
There
you
you
need?
go.
that
What
man?
do I
that
want the
man.
man to do for me?
So he just said it too. What do you
And
want
what
him
do
to
you
do? What do
need
you
for him
need
to
him to do? What would you like him to do? Make a list
To me.
for you.
For you.
Why is it got to be for me?
Because
We're talking about you.
yes.
It's about you. Everything that we do.
Maybe I'm
we
having
have
a
to have-
spectrum
I
moment.
want
You have to understand an agenda.
I'm going to do what I do to please you.
Mhm.
And some of that includes what does she want? What does she need? You get what I'm saying?
I guess I've never been that woman.
Okay. See, if
I
meet a
have to
woman-
understand that.
If I meet a woman and when we start dating and she say, "Hey, I need my hair and nails done," that's a
The
turn
fuck?
off for me.
Mhm.
That's a turn off for me because you should already do that for your own self.
Exactly.
That's what I'm getting at. That's what I'm saying. When you say for me, I'm like, I'm already
No, we're
doing
not
those
talking
things
about
for
that. We ain't talking
myself.
about that.
Material.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't want you to
Maybe
do those
he
things for
just
me.
might
Spiritual.
sing to you.
Oh, that's
Okay.
so sweet.
No, that's a see.
That's so sweet.
Nah.
So you like that?
He could sing a little
I'm a singer.
bit, and he
Right.
sings one particular song very well, and he sings it to you, and that just does something for you.
Mhm.
Okay,
That's
that's
so
on,
sweet.
That's on the list. Okay, now do you need to pay somebody to do that? No. Is it monetary? No.
But I will
It's
pay
just
someone.
something. No,
Oh,
but it is something that just does something for you. Okay, if you're the woman that you're the woman.
I've been
that
doing
has
this all
everything.
wrong.
You're the woman that has everything.
I am.
Okay, what is it that you don't have?
That you want.
Because you don't have everything.
Obviously.
Mhm.
Okay,
But everything that I desire, everything that I
Okay.
you have everything that you need.
have everything I need.
Exactly. You have most of the things that you want.
No, I have everything I want to.
Okay.
Everything.
With the exception of
That means you have most of the things you want.
correct, sir. Let me
Okay.
correct that.
And
Wait, time out.
Now
No, there's a
we're
few
working
things
on
that I want to
desire.
do in the future. So no. I have the things that I want. I haven't reestablished what I want fully for myself.
now, for somebody that don't like lists, you should making
Just
lists.
making this.
Well,
just
just
made
because
one.
you
Do
just
Do you want-
opened
do
this
you-
up
do
for
you
me.
want a guy that's your guy.
Do I want a guy that's
Mhm.
my guy?
Yeah, you do.
I do.
Do you? Well, what do you want of him?
That's what you have to establish.
Do I want a guy that's my
You're
guy?
gonna have to.
You could
write
say,
the
Rocco, I
list.
just need you on Fridays. Okay, and if I agree to that, then you got me on Fridays. No, I'm just being honest.
No, and that's
I'm using that as an example.
Now that's the transactional. Okay, and if he's willing to put up with that
Right.
or go with agree to that.
Rocco, I just need you to hug me on Thursdays, and I need you to come
Stop
walk the dog on
personalizing
Fridays. I'm just being honest.
Come hug me on
No, no.
Thursday.
You know what? I mean,
Me,
I wasn't
me.
doing it like that. I wasn't even talking like that, but I get what you're saying. I really was trying to break that down to where he can really realize. what
He's
do
trying
you
to
want of him?
personalize it so it's like, look,
Yeah. what do
how
you
are I
want?
don't have anybody on a schedule or roster or any of that. I'm not that
And
type
even
of
saying
woman.
if you want that, you probably don't want that.
No.
However, you still have to establish what you do want.
You remind me
What
of
you
Madam
need.
and all the Queen's men.
Yeah.
Oh.
What
You
you
need a Tommy.
need.
Who's a Tommy?
You get to
Remember,
go watch the
The
show.
first three things, what I need. The second three things,
Right.
what I want.
Mm-hmm.
And the second four things, what I desire.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't use people like that.
It's
I need
just
to
not
look
about
at-
using. Everybody gets
Just
used.
use.
Yeah.
If I'm your husband and I protect you,
I think that was
if
my
you-
problem
if
as
you're my
well.
wife and you take care and nurture me,
You're being used.
you're being used.
And guess what?
It's not a
Being
bad
used
thing.
is not a bad thing. What's
If you
the
benefit
song by Bill Withers? Use me till you use me up.
because
I
he
love
want
it
that
so
woman.
much.
Because and at the
Oh,
last
that's what I
time-
need. I need to listen to oldies with him
Listen
and then have
to-
a record player.
listen
Oh, it's
to
my
the-
list.
Listen to the last line of the song. I'm using
Mhm.
you can use me because I'm sure I'm using you for the things you do.
Right.
Okay, so everybody has a criteria.
Mhm.
Everybody uses everybody
You
else.
just said you wanted a guy for nostalgic purposes. Listen to oldies.
I'm
with
an
you.
old soul.
Okay, that's
I
one
can't
thing.
communicate like
Okay.
Exactly.
I'm an old soul.
So
So
that
I would not
means-
ask someone
So
to
that means you have needs that need to be fulfilled by a particular man.
Right.
Are you going to find that in every young man that
Nope.
might feel the other stuff? Hell no.
Nope.
Final. What am I going to get an album for?
But
What-
make you a
what's an
list, like
LP?
Gary say, make you that list, and you might have to settle for the 7 or the 6.
The 7 out of 10.
or the 8.
You get as many as you
can
can.
get, and then you be satisfied with that.
Exactly.
Or if not, you're just gonna be a transactional woman.
that's gonna be very expensive hugs.
No.
No,
You
Not
don't,
really.
you don't sell hugs.
you don't sell hugs. But
What do you
hugs-
mean transactional?
Okay.
What does that mean? Hit it and quit it?
Transaction. No. Transaction doesn't mean most things are transactional.
Everything, that if you're not intimately in a relationship with a person, you're gonna have a transactional experience.
Even
It's
if
give
you're
and take.
in an intimate relationship,
That's
it's
still very
transaction.
much
It's still a
transaction.
You're
transaction.
married in your relationship. Is it transactional?
Absolutely.
Well, it's a give and take all day, every day.
That's transactional.
Exactly.
So, you guys,
You have to
Deep,
figure out
ain't it?
what you want. Where I'm at 63, I know what I want now. And guess what? I made my list, and I only need 2. But
you need 2 women.
no, 2 on the list. 2 things
2
on
lines
my
on your
list.
list. Okay.
Because
Oh,
where I'm at, there was a time when I needed 7. Now I only need 2.
I think that's my problem. I only need a couple things from him.
Like
Okay,
what?
like what? Put that on the table.
And see, you don't even know those 2 things yet
You don't even know, huh?
because you haven't put pen to paper. You
Mhm.
haven't sat down and thought about it. That's okay. Because
Yes.
guess what? You're 40.
1.
I stand corrected.
41? I
Yes,
thought you were younger than that.
Okay.
everybody does.
You're 41.
Mhm.
Okay. I was still trying to figure out who the hell I was at 41.
Most people do.
And the thing is, when you start sitting down thinking on these criteria that you need, you're going to learn more about you. Because some of those things you're going to put down on the initial, write it in pencil, because you're going to erase some things and change it. Okay? Once you establish your list,
Homework.
you're going to learn more about you.
You are.
Do I really need this? Nah. I need this. Okay.
I guess I've been doing that slowly with developing the personal development of myself for myself because I chose to be in a relationship. So I kind of did it for me and I never
Because
looked.
you're in that transition
Yes.
period from that young woman to a mature woman. I'm not going to say a middle-aged woman,
Mhm.
because middle age now has moved up.
Yeah,
The age is bigger. Okay,
I went to
there
the
used to
right
be a
crack.
time 40 years old was pretty long in the tooth.
Mhm.
Okay, look, we're in our 60s. Most motherfuckers was dead by the time back in the day.
Right, right.
That's why the retirement age was set at 65.
Oh,
The
Jesus.
median age of death was 63.
He done got some. Look, he done went and got some Cheetos. He is eating it up. Listen, this was good,
wait a
wasn't
minute,
it?
and you only got one bag, huh? Mm-hmm. All
It's
right.
not hard. You just have to narrow it down to what that you need. I know when I was his age, I thought I needed all this and some.
Mhm.
And I realize now, dang, she got all that. Guess what? She getting on my nerves. See,
What gets on your nerves?
Wasn't the right one.
wasn't the right one. Yeah, let me say
They'll
that.
get on your nerves.
I can
don't
tell you
give
what
a damn
gets
how
on my
fine they
nerves.
are.
What gets on my nerves? If my woman has to beg me for something, she ain't the one.
Well, first of all, if she's begging you, she already know. That's
No,
where
no,
I'm
no.
getting
There's
at.
a lot of relationships where, especially today, I've met so many needy women for
Needy.
things that they should already be doing for themselves. Why
I
do you
can't
wait
relate.
till you get okay? Didn't say every woman.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I've been running into.
Yeah.
They need you still behind. Okay, you need this. What shouldn't you be doing that for yourself? You don't need me to give you money to get your nails done. You don't give me money to get need you give money to get a retwist. You don't need me to do that. You should. What do you do before you had it?
What
are
do
you doing?
you bring to the table?
What are you bringing that to this relationship that's going to benefit the both of us? Notice I didn't say me. What are you bringing to my table would benefit both of us.
So the compliment, I believe very strongly with Eartha Kitt when it's no compromise, it's a compliment. Okay. If I can't compliment you,
Mm-hmm.
I can do nothing for you.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't say make you whole. I can't make you
No.
whole. That's between you and your creator.
Yeah.
If I can't compliment and add value to your life to expand you
There you
in
go.
growth, I offer you nothing. I don't give a damn what I said I brought to the table. If you're not growing in my presence, then I'm a issue.
You said it. I need you to compliment me, and I want you to want me. That's the two
Exactly.
things. All I need.
Because in my marriage now, my wife didn't need me monetarily.
No, your wife don't need you at all.
Exactly.
I don't mean it like that. Sorry, Miss Janet. No, but she don't need you. She's a whole woman.
Exactly. Now, did I need her?
No.
Okay. However, when we came together, we found mutual support. Okay.
That was needed.
That was needed.
So something that I know for a fact, a woman in her divinity, and this is where it circle back and we'll wrap it up this way. A woman can make or break a soul. That's any soul, whether it's the child or the partner, with her energy, her chemistry. The power of the tongue is a powerful thing. She ain't ever got to put hands on you at all.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I've seen just as many as toxic men have destroyed women physically, emotionally, psychologically, and narcissism and all of that. I've watched the battered woman become the toxic man and take that very detrimental practice and put it on the child and everything around them.
Exactly.
And then you have this I need.
Exactly. Stop.
No, you don't need anything. You're trying to be an energy vampire to gratify yourself. You're trying to suck the life out of everything around you to satisfy the void within you, because that's what the toxic man created when he was with the woman who irritated him and he couldn't get satisfied. So he filled the void in different ways. Now you are filling the void by collecting all these souls in this toxic experience. Husband, daddy, man, whatever that is, this patriarchal system teaching you to be toxic. That's not what we're needing.
And the men that you've watched, because you remember, we learn how to be by watching adults. A boy learns how to be a man by watching another man. A little girl learns how to be a woman by watching another woman. Mother, auntie, sister, big sister, the elders at church, whatever the case may be. And if your example is wrong,
like I said,
you're going to be wrong.
when I got into this realm I realized a lot of my upbringing and how I was going about things was so toxic. It didn't match what I was asking for. If you want a partner, you can't be a toxic, hyper independent person. Does that make sense? You can't say I want to be in a relationship and be a toxic, hyper independent person.
Don't tell me you're an alpha female and you talking about you want me to be your man.
Exactly. You can't ask. Well, I guess if you are a simp.
Well, she got the definition.
But you ain't gonna ask.
But you're not gonna ask.
Oh no.
Him, you're not gonna ask of him anything. No. Because you're immediately going to be turned off by him not being the man that you desire.
Well, a toxic, narcissistic alpha female will use, abuse, and destroy that man for her own gain.
But guess what? He better know how to figure it out. Okay? If he doesn't see that, because the signs are there, you got to know the signs. You have to watch the signs. You have to observe. You have to sit back and take the 5,000-foot view. Sometimes just look. Go beyond the facade. Go beyond how they smell and what they do for you, to you, and all that good stuff. What else is?
Well, if she has nothing but a gratification experience with you, then you know that is just what it is.
Right. Exactly.
That's it. Been there, done that. Like we've said this over and over. I tell young women this all the time. He's not calling you. He's not texting you. He's not communicating with you. He don't want you.
You don't want you.
A man that wants you will let it be known.
A man that wants you is going to pursue.
And when I say pursue, you're going to get tired of it. That's how you know.
Not if he's the one.
No, wait a minute. Exactly. Because see, if he constantly has to pursue you and you still running, he gonna figure it out one day and give up.
Well, there's that aspect of it.
30 days.
I have a probation period.
Mm-hmm.
That's with all relationships that come in my life. All relationships, business relationships, personal relationships, friendships, sister, any of that. Your pattern is going to repeat and your true nature is going to come out.
Yes, absolutely.
So I have to allow you the space and time to
grow,
evolve around me or die on the vine. Right. I'm going to give you. Right. Now, whether or not you entertain me or, as you say, turn me on in that way to make me want to connect, you already have a probationary experience time with me.
Exactly.
Okay.
You still have to see how you are going to evolve in the essence of me. You may be toxic. You may be so much in this area that you poison me with that level. We got to balance it. You got to understand what that looks like. Behaviors can only be expressed through acting it out. You got to let them act it out. You got to allow them. Now, if, like I said, that's if they've shown you the worthiness of alignment of things that now I don't look at criteria. I look at value. So when you say, what's your list? Oh, baby, we did a class with a whole worksheet full of values. I got a whole list. You're going to have to match those values in order for you to have a seat next to me.
That's a list.
Your values don't line up with what it is that I am aligned to. You cannot make magic with me.
And if you tell me you want me and I pursue it, right, then loosen up and let me pursue it. Don't start creating obstacles after you told me you want me.
Oh, playing games.
You know what I'm saying?
Playing games.
Right.
Exactly.
If you say you want me and then I pursue it, then show me that you want me. and I'm going to show you that I want to be with you too.
I don't think women are ready for that.
I know.
Some
want you
women
to-
are.
I shouldn't say all. I'm not speaking for
Some
all.
women
But
are.
some women
Some
are.
women
Some
are.
women. I'm saying the group that we're talking about. Those women are not
No.
ready for that because they don't think it's going to go. Me and Avion were talking about that. It's superficial. It doesn't
very
even get to the
superficial.
next level
Right.
to think beyond the game.
Because nobody told them.
No, and that's where I'm going. They didn't know. But with that being said, we didn't hit from one end of the spectrum to the other.
Go see the movie.
Go see
688.
It will definitely empower you.
Away.
It will.
It'll blow
I
you
cried.
away.
And
I'm
you
so
put the
proud to say-
machismo down.
I'm so proud to say I
Had to.
cried.
Had to.
I cried, I laughed,
It was
I
a
got
hell of a film.
angry. I wanted to punch it. I chose violence twice on Sunday for a couple of scenes. I was like, ooh, all this trauma coming back. Ooh, get him, girl. Ooh.
And
I
it
was-
made me realize how strong women really are.
Yes.
I-
Absolutely.
I'm going to be very clear. It made me realize how strong Black women are. Women are strong within the
I
essence,
won't say
but
all women,
all women
because
are
when you-
strong.
when you
But
look at
this
Eleanor
was
Roosevelt,
to
you saw
this.
something.
Yes. But what I'm saying is
You
my
know what I'm saying?
struggle is
Mhm.
not that of my white sister.
Okay.
Do you understand what I'm
Most
saying?
definitely.
It is not that. They will
Most
give her an opportunity before they will continue to say that I
That
am
is correct.
disqualified.
That is correct.
Feminism was a white woman oriented focus. We still couldn't drive.
That killed a lot of
I
relationships.
saw something, and I'm gonna leave on this note.
No disrespect. I'm just saying that the battle is not the same.
It was a post somebody put up, and the post said, in essence, white privilege doesn't mean that you didn't have it hard.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
White privilege means that your skin color was not an obstacle.
Correct. Even though I stood in the line with all shades of melanin,
Mhm.
I wasn't qualified based off of my shade.
Exactly.
And so what period, I don't care that I was overqualified. Truly, academically, she got the job because she meets the image.
Exactly.
And so that's what I'm getting at. When I've gotten into this a few times with other women, I'm like, this is a reason why this is a part of the problem. If you can't understand, I'm not dismissing your struggle. I'm telling you, your struggle is not my struggle as a woman because there's another aspect to it called race.
Mhm.
I give it to you. We know race is an issue here. So don't dismiss.
You got one major hoop to jump.
I just got in
That's
this
got
pool with
fire
you.
on it.
You know? Well,
This
man, this boomer.
I must say, you get old. Listen.
I ain't old.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
older.
you are.
I'm older.
Yeah, you are.
Y'all.
Go see the movie, y'all.
Yeah, go see the movie.
It's definitely going to be
Be
worth a
blessed.
while.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. If you have come over to Nevada Partners tomorrow, like I said, that is a really great thing. We have December 12th, 2 things going on. Like I said, L'Oreal USA, we're so grateful to see that over at Nordstrom's of women and the beings that love makeup, I should say. It's not just women only. So the beings of light that would want to engage in that, please head over and do that. Then we have all of these other amazing experiences like 5 o'clock, you got How Money Works, and then you have a few other things. And it's Friday the 13th, next Friday. I won't be here, so we made it up today with the full podcast. So blessings to everyone. Thank you so much for joining.